A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
This is Walter O'Keefe, inviting you to listen in on the Nightline. Tonight, live the incredible life of ages yet to come, in a time that might be 1,000,000 years from now, on X-1. Now, an incredible story of the world beyond.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, Inside Story by Richard Wilson. But first, hear this. I know a couple old friends that argue about everything. Politics, world affairs, even the time of day. One thing they agree on, though, is Pabst Blue Ribbon draft beer. They say it's the best. And for a change, they're both right. Pabst Blue Ribbon Draft is a bright, modern-tasting beer that still has plenty of that old-fashioned beer flavor. Next time you see that sign that says, Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer on draft, stop in, order a glass. You'll soon know why so many folks agree on the bright, modern taste of Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer of Milwaukee. Now, X-1 and Inside Story.
Every wire serviceman knows that when the legislature shuts down for the hot weather, when it gets too warm for crimes of passion, that's the start of the silly season. It's the time when the teletype chatters about the largest pumpkin grown in Sauk County and the dog that found its way home from Luna Base to the Cocoa Island rocket port. Well, it was the silly season when I reported to headquarters Martian sector of the Galactic News Service at IOPA. I found the bureau chief, Scott Warren, looking sourly at a strip of copy.
GNS Sonala add lizards.
Lizards?
Lizards.
Mm.
New light on the longevity span of the Martian sand lizard was shed today by the Sonala Zoological Society. Now, that is what I call hot news. Flash copy.
Dull day?
Following a dull night. Was it like this in New York when you left?
They had me covering a kitten in a tree in Gramercy Park.
I would sell my soul for a nice, juicy cabinet crisis. Or else a little honest graft on a spaceport contract.
Well, have you got any leads?
No. The Garrison Administration of Martian Colonial Affairs is depressingly honest.
When nothing's doing, you can stir it up a little. You know, rattle the local skeleton in the closet. Fan the fires a little.
Have you read the Publications Responsibility Act of 1997? You can get 20 years for what you were thinking.
Look, what's the local canker sore? What would you like most to get an inside story on? Something everybody covers up.
Well, there's Druro. Oh, but that's Simon Pure.
What's Druro?
Nully's Sanctuary.
Oh, a religious institution?
No. It's a quarantine set up for null-gravity neurocatinosis. Nully fever. It's completely segregated. Nobody's ever gotten a report out of there.
Well, it sounds like a natural.
Look, George, you're new. You don't fool around with Nully Fever here on Mars. Be like lighting a cigarette in a powder magazine.
Chief, how would you like an inside story out of Druro?
You can't get in.
I will give 8 to 5. Now, look, who's in charge?
The Ministry of Health, but you can't...
Okay. Don't let the sand lizard take up all the space. I will get in. It wasn't so easy. I did fine over at the Health Ministry until I mentioned Druro. And then I might just as well have had a galloping case of Nully Fever myself. I was referred to the press officer, to the assistant administrator, to the legal department, the protocol division, and then back to the press officer. Finally, I got in to see the commissioner, Dr. Marks.
Just what caused you to raise the question of Druro, Mr. Gordon?
Look, Dr. Marks, what I want is your permission to visit Druro and get the inside story.
Visit Druro? You mean inside the camp?
Yes, that's right.
Mr. Gordon, I am quoting Administrative Code, Section 65. Any person found within the perimeter at Druro is considered to be a Nully Fever victim. Contagion is something like 99% certain at a range of 100 yards.
What's the treatment?
Druro.
You mean they're just shoved there to rot?
A Nully, Mr. Gordon, will rot wherever he is. He deteriorates to the point of total sterility. Take my advice. Forget it.
Naturally, I didn't forget it. I did more research. I found out that Nully Fever seemed to be a mutated virus that got that way in the early Earth-Mars rockets that had inadequate radiological shielding. The symptoms masqueraded as half a dozen diseases, but the end product was the same. A physical deterioration that I don't care to go into. And a psychological lowering to an animal state.
You're listening to Inside Story, tonight's attraction on X-1. Now, back to X-1 and Inside Story.
I may be a little reckless following a story, but believe me, there isn't a bonus big enough to make a hero out of me. I had no intention of contracting Nully Fever just to provide a byline story for old GNS. I had stumbled onto something, and I was wearing it when I dropped into the bureau and asked Scott if he noticed anything different about me.
You're putting on a little weight?
No. Guess again.
Your pants aren't hanging right. Your shirt's all bunched up.
That's because I am wearing the latest fashion, an invisible suit.
Oh, goodbye. Try another one.
Look, I'm not kidding. It's heat-proof and airtight. They developed it over at Mars Electronics for spacesuit use.
You mean you're all buttoned up? Well, how do I hear you?
Short wave from a miniaturized dental mic. It's hanging on a front tooth, see?
You're not kidding. Well, how come it's invisible?
It beats me. Something to do with a non-refractive coating. You need that for dark side work on airless satellites. I got an experimental model from a PRO at ME.
What's it good for?
Outside of spaceship work, not much, except it is my ticket to Druro.
Now, wait a minute.
Don't you get it, Chief? I can't be infected, not with this suit on. It's absolutely airtight. Don't worry, I'll be safe. Wrapped in plastifilm like chewing gum.
Yeah, but that won't get you past the perimeter into the Nully camp.
Just leave that to me. I've got that figured out, too. I picked up a sandcat out to the town of Druro and waited for 2 days. There was a shipment of Nullies, the last of the Sinala roundup, due at the camp. Out of respect to public opinion, they dumped Nullies at night, which suited me fine. About 100 Nullies were going over the newcomers like kangaroo caught in a frontier jail. I don't think anybody actually got killed, but they almost tore the new bunch to pieces, grabbing cigarettes, jackknives, buttons, shoes, anything. And then, like as not, the old-timers would fight each other for it. The whole thing was over at dawn, and I could get a look around the camp. There were prefab huts and some trees. I started over to one of the huts.
My hut.
Take it easy, friend. I'm not going to hurt you. Look! I'm your friend.
Sure. You think you're going to steal my ration, huh? I'll kill you first.
How long have you been here?
2 years. Got a cigarette?
Here. No, don't grab. I'll toss you one.
Don't you make a move towards me.
Sure. What were you before you got in here?
Huh? A teacher. An IOPA technical. I fixed them before they got me. I cut down 10 medics with a power drill.
When is breakfast, friend?
You go plenty hungry. Ration isn't until tomorrow. You think that was some fight last night? Wait till you see ration drop. Last time somebody tried to beat me to a ration case, I fixed her.
Never mind. Don't tell me about it. Hey, what's that over there? Up the hill. Looks like a regular fortress.
What are you trying to do? Hurt me?
No, I just asked you what goes on up there, those other huts inside that barricade.
You spying for them? Yeah, sure. You're spying for them, you dirty...
It isn't easy to get used to dodging nasty backhand punches that came out of the blue and were meant to kill, if possible. I got my arm up in time to catch about half the force, and the man ran off with my pack of cigarettes. But there was something up that hill worth looking into. A barricaded section set apart from the rest. So I started up. When I hit the woods, I stopped just 3 feet short of a 10-foot spear.
All right, you. Get back down the hill.
Now, take it easy, will you? What's going on up here?
Go on, get moving. I've got orders to kill if I have to.
You don't understand. I just want to find out...
Yeah, sure you do. They always do. Every time there's a new batch, there's a few still smart enough to plan together, and they come up here spying.
Spying on what? Look, I'm
I'll
a newspaper...
count 3, and then you get it in the belly.
No hero I got before he reached 1.5. That night, I managed to talk to the ex-teacher without either of us slugging the other. I asked him about the guard on the hill.
They get all the best rations. They make us give up our food or they come kill us. They've got spears and knives.
You mean there's a gang up there living off the rest of you?
Yeah. I killed one of them once. Caught him from behind with a rock. They came down and killed 10 of us. Didn't get me, though. Funny, huh?
I got the picture. It's been the same every time men are herded together like animals. Andersonville, Buchenwald, and Dachau, the Alaskan camps in the 70s, and now Druro. The strong live off the others, a kind of racketeering in spades. Grab the best of everything, live as rich as you can, and don't worry how many you leave to starve to death.
We're going to get them, though. Tonight. Got rocks together and clubs. Go up there and we'll get them. You come.
I didn't have much choice. They would have torn me apart. About 10 o'clock at night, the mob gathered at the foot of the hill. Every once in a while, they'd swipe at each other with a club or a rock, but mostly they shouted up at the hill. And then suddenly, without any signal, they charged. It was kind of sick. Men and women, heaven knows what they were before, teachers, mothers, anything, screaming and running up that hill. And then the defenders cut loose. There were torches so I could see, rocks rolled down, boiling water, spears, arrows, enough to cut down that unarmed mob. I was hiding behind a tree now, sick, good and sick. When it happened... No!
Hold on, bud. I'm going to pull this arrow out.
Oh.
Here it goes now.
Oh. Oh. Where am I?
Up the hill. That's where you wanted to go, isn't it?
But how did...
We dragged you up here.
Herb, get some bandages up here.
You're one of them, aren't you?
One of who?
The big shots, the kingpins, gangsters.
You didn't get hit in the head, did you?
Oh, it's too bad they didn't wipe you out up here. It's tough enough living in a place like this, but to prey on the weak ones...
Look, fella, I think maybe you got the wrong idea.
Oh, thank heaven I'm safe from this kind of...
Yeah, I wondered when you'd notice. That fancy suit of yours got torn when the arrow hit.
Oh, no. No. Belly fever.
That's why we hauled you up here. We spotted something funny about you. A kettle of boiling water splashed on you and you didn't even notice. Who are you?
George Gordon, Galactic News Service.
A newsman? Listen, does anybody know you're in here?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a chance. Can you tell them they got to let us out? Tell them what it's like up here. Make them understand. We write messages for the ration planes and they ignore them. You can't get close enough to the guards to shout, they shoot you down. They got to let us out.
Oh, sure. After what I've seen, that's the last thing I do. Try to con somebody into letting this loose on the population. I've seen enough nullies. Even if I have to spend the rest of my life in this camp, I don't want to be responsible for making more.
Wait a minute. You don't get it. We're not nullies up here.
What? Nobody gets in the camp who isn't a nullie.
That's right. We all had it when we came in, but not anymore. Up here, we're cured.
You're lying.
You've got to believe me. We've been living up here for 4 years, keeping guard. Trying to live like human beings in the middle of those animals down there. Losing maybe 3 or 4 a week, fighting them off.
You know, you're more dangerous than they are down there because somehow you've kept some intelligence, enough to want revenge on the rest of the world by infecting.
No, you've got to believe me. We're cured. Nully fever can be cured somehow because we've done it. About 100 of us. More now with the babies.
The what?
Babies. Normal, healthy babies.
He pointed across the clearing to another hut, and I saw it. A woman about 30, sitting on the doorsteps, nursing a baby, an infant. And I heard the words of the commissioner echoing in my ear. And, of course, total sterility. These weren't nullies, not anymore. If they could have babies, they must be cured, living as a desperate island in a mad world of violence. Well, you know the rest of it. You ought to. It was carried under my byline in every fact sheet on 3 planets. They had a micro-technician up the hill who gimmicked my miniature microphone with a hairpin and a piece of quartz crystal, so I cut in on the main traffic beam between Sinala and Iopa. I had Scott Warren at Government House in 15 minutes, threatening to blow the lid off the whole colonial government. The babies did it. Aerial photographs with micro-enlargements. They had pictures of those babies on the wire the next day. Red tape held it up a week. But finally, 100 cured ex-nullies and 1 reporter were out of Druro at Iopa General Hospital for checks. They found it. Nully fever is psychosomatic. You take somebody strong enough to fight for survival, give him incentive, and he'll lick it by himself. No miracle drugs needed. It starts with a virus, all right. But it ends with psychotherapy. A good dose of willpower. I got back to work in a month.
Welcome back, George. The teletype's dead as ever. Back to the longevity of the Martian sand lizard.
Druro Nully story played out?
Dead as last week's herring.
Well, what else is new? Maybe we can find another skeleton in the closet. How about life on the Martian moons? Now, that ought to be good for a headline.
Fred Collins again, and I'll have a word for you about next week's X-1 in a moment.
Hey, Molly, it's me. Where are you?
I'm here, McGee. What's the matter?
Are you doing anything?
Am I doing anything? I've got a towel wrapped around my head, a broom in one hand, a bucket of soap and water in the other, and the kitchen curtains under my arm, and you ask me if I'm doing anything. Sure, I'm vacationing in Florida.
Oh, here, Molly, let me take that stuff.
What are you doing?
Now, just sit down. Sit down right here.
Well, you're sweet, McGee, but I've got...
You can go back to work in a minute. I got something big to tell you. You know, something really big.
What have you gone and done?
We're going to be on Monitor.
Monitor?
NBC's fascinating, motivating, merry-making, scintillating, ever-vescerating weekend radio service.
Oh, that Monitor. Of course. And we're on it, McGee? When?
This weekend and every weekend. What do you say to that?
Oh, that's wonderful, McGee.
So don't make any plans, folks. We'll be seeing you this weekend. All weekend.
On Monitor.
And now a word about next week's story. the category Inventors by Arthur Sellings on X-1. You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Time Waits for Winthrop by William Tenn. Winthrop was literally the most stubborn and selfish man in 500 years. How could they convince him not to strand them in this society of shriek fields and panic stadiums? Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Inside Story, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Richard Wilson and adapted for radio by Ernest Ganoy. Featured in our cast were Bob Hastings, Leon Janney, Ralph Bell, Richard Hamilton, Edwin Cooper, and Pat Hosley. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
There's excitement in the air at night, and Nightline brings it to you. Hear Nightline with Walter O'Keefe, next on most of these NBC stations.
On Euclidia, the magic island of the South Seas, events are moving very rapidly. Johnson's boat has arrived and been captured. Jerry and Joan have been in the chemical laboratory and watched the exploding gas from Captain Bradford's trick formula put the Euclidean scientists, including G-47, to sleep. Now, Jerry and Joan are back on Mrs. Gregory's yacht, where it is lashed to Johnson's boat. Jerry is running a little portable power saw on the deck of the yacht to cover up the noise of the pumps transferring oil to Johnson's boat for the escape attempt. Joan is with her mother in the radio cabin.
J24Y to Wilmington. Patricia Gregory to the Gregory Relay Station. Hello, Wilmington. J24Y to Wilmington. Hello. Hello.
I cannot understand, Mother dear, why they do not answer you.
I understand it, Joan, and I don't expect them to answer me.
Why not, Mother?
For one reason, they can't possibly hear me. We're 4,000 miles from the California coast, and with our broken aerial and this set not working properly, we're lucky if we can be heard 400 miles, let alone 4,000.
Then how does it help us any to keep calling? And your messages sound so strange. I do not understand much of your plan, I think.
Well, I haven't much of a plan, dear. What I'm trying to do is keep the Euclideans in the radio chambers busy worrying about these messages. As long as they think our position is hopeless here and that we're frantically calling for help, they won't suspect how nearly ready we are to try and escape.
But what about Mr. Johnson? Will he be hearing these messages and acting on them to help you?
I hope so, dear, though it's rather difficult to put much of value to him in the messages. However, he'll be listening to all of them, as long as he's within range of this transmitter at least. And when we actually run away from here, he may be able to figure some way to meet us before our fuel gives out.
I'm so afraid, Mother dear, that these Euclideans will discover you have cut holes in the two boats and are transferring the oil from this yacht to Johnson's cruiser.
They may not. Jerry's making a very convincing job of sawing on that mast out there. The noise will cover the sound of the pumps are making, and unless some of the Euclideans actually swim in between the boats, as you and Jerry did, I don't think they'll see the holes. They're so near the waterline.
I would like to go out on the deck and see what is happening now.
You'd better not, dear. Jerry and the captain will be busy trying to answer the questions of that Euclidean guard. You'd only add to the confusion if you went out there.
What if the guard should discover the plans to use the other boat in escaping?
Joan, dear, don't be so pessimistic. If those things happen, they'll simply have to happen. Now, I'll use the radio again and see if I can think of something which might give Johnson an idea as to our real position here. J24Y calling Wilmington. Gregory Yacht to Relay Station. Relay this to Gregory Land Station at Wilmington. Both boats powerless. Held captive at latitude 29 degrees south. Longitude 124 degrees 30 minutes west. Impossible attempt escape. No fuel for boats.
Oh, the captain.
Yes, Joan, and I've got some good news for you.
What is it, Tex?
Go right on with your sending, Pat. This can wait until you get your message out.
I wasn't sending anything of value, Tex. Just trying to find a way to let Johnson know something definite about our plans and the situation here.
Well, after we figure a little on what I've got now. Maybe it will be easier to get a message to Johnson that he will understand.
You have discovered something of value to us, Captain Bradford?
I think so. That Euclidean who came aboard just now and put Jerry and me through a cross-examination didn't have any idea that the gas explosion in the laboratory was anything more than an accident. He wanted to know if that had ever happened to me when I was working on the formula.
You think they were really deceived about it?
No doubt of it. They don't even suspect that the formula was deliberately prepared to put them to sleep.
I can believe that is possible, as the Euclidean chemists were all in the laboratory at the time, and they would be the only ones on the island with enough knowledge of chemistry to suspect anything about the formula.
Right, Joan. And as long as these chemists stay asleep, we won't have any trouble over that.
But the man who came and talked to you, he must have had something definite in mind. What did he question you about?
He wanted to know if I had an antidote for the action of the gas. If I couldn't go to the laboratory and revive these men some way.
Of course you will not do it, Captain.
You bet I won't. And I couldn't even if I wanted to. There's nothing I ever heard of that'll bring these men out of their little nap.
How long will the effects last?
Oh, several hours. At least until after dark. The minute it's dark, we've got to make our break for the open.
But how will we ever get that boat of Johnson's out through the pier opening and away from the island without being heard?
There is often a brisk wind from the south in the evening. Could you sail that boat out, Captain?
That's what I'm figuring on trying. They'd hear the motors.
I wonder if the batteries in Johnson's boat are in shape to handle the radio.
I imagine they're pretty dead after dragging that boat around, but we'll move our batteries over there after dark.
Oh, Captain, listen. The noise has stopped.
Yeah, so it has. That means the oil's all transferred to the other boat, and Jerry can quit sewing on that mast.
Well, Jerry, did you finish with the mast?
Yes, Mrs. Gregory. And I wanted to ask you about that, Tex.
What is it, Jerry?
Don't you think it'd be a good idea for me to go right ahead and set that short mast into place, then rig up the radio aerial again? It'll give these fellows an idea we're planning on staying on this boat, if they're watching us.
I think that would be very wise, Jerry.
Oh, you would think so. Easy enough for you to sit here and think things are wise for me to do. Have you ever tried pushing a mast around?
Why, no, Jerry.
Then come on out with me. You're going to learn how to do it.
Now, Jerry, that work will be too hard for Joan.
Oh, I don't want her to work. I just want her to sit there and watch me do it, so she can tell me how good I am when I get it done.
Well, if you need moral support, go right ahead, Jerry, and take Joan with you. I'm going to stay here with Pat for a while and try to figure out how to get an intelligent message to Johnson.
Come on, Joan. You can boss the job while I work on the mast.
You must both be very careful out there.
We will, Mother, and I will see that Jerry does a good job. Now I want to see what you have done, Jerry.
I'll show that to you later. Just now I've got another idea in my mind. Come on around behind this cabin.
But, Jerry, what do you...
Now, don't ask me now. Wait till we get around here. There. Now, this ought to do.
For what?
Wait till I get a chance to tell you. Now, first, we've got this radio cabin between us and the island, right?
Of course, Jerry. That is obvious.
Never mind the cracks. Just answer my questions. Now, that cabin is all lined with that Euclidean soundproof cloth. All the way around, isn't it?
Precisely.
Hey.
I am sorry. I mean, certainly it is.
Then, if we stand here, with that cabin between us and the island, can we talk without anyone on the island hearing us?
Yes, Jerry. I am sure that is possible. Of course, we will have to watch for anyone on the other pier over there.
Oh, I know that. We'll have to watch all around and up and down. But what I want to know, is there any way for their sound beams from the central control chamber on the island to pick up what we say from here?
No, Jerry. We will be safe with this insulated cabin between us and the instruments.
Swell. Now listen, I've got an idea. And it's something I didn't dare tell your mother and Tex because they wouldn't let us try it. But I think you and I can put it over.
Is it something dangerous, Jerry?
Plenty. But it's just as good as it is dangerous. And it's a swell chance to make sure we get off this island tonight.
Oh, Jerry, what is it? I will help you, no matter how dangerous it might be.
Atta girl, Joan. I knew you'd be with me. But we've got to be mighty careful that Captain Bradford or Mrs. Gregory don't find out anything about it.
Then we must speak very quietly, Jerry. They might hear us through this cabin wall.
But you said the cloth would keep them from that.
Not exactly, Jerry. The cloth would keep sound from being recorded in the control room. But if we spoke loudly enough, our voices might be heard through this thin wall. Not what we said, of course. But if they heard our voices here, when we should be on the other side of the boat working on that mast, they might come out to see who it was.
Right, Joan. We'll take it easy.
Now tell me what it is. You must have some plan which you and I can work out.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Listen. Oh, boy, that's swell. The skipper and Mac are working on that mast now. Tex will think it's me, and he won't come out looking for me.
But hurry, Jerry, your plan.
Well, I'll tell you, Joan. It's mighty dangerous, for you as well as me. And you don't have to go for it if you don't want to.
Why, Jerry, Do you not realize that I want to do everything you do and go with you at all times? I am afraid of nothing, Jerry, if you and I are to try it together.
Atta baby, Joan. Atta baby.
I know what that means now, Jerry. It means
Never
that...
mind that now. You're a swell girl, Joan, but your English is terrible. Forget it and listen to the plan.
Of course, Jerry.
Well, to begin with, my plan's only good if you know a whole lot about this island. I mean, where the main switches are that control all the electricity on the island, where the one room is where the most damage would be done if anything happened to that room, and where the men are that would have to watch out for most.
You want a good deal, Jerry, but I think I can help you with all of it.
Okay, now here's one other thing. How far can we walk on that island without getting stopped? I mean, how close can we get to any of the important rooms?
I think with the chemists all asleep in the laboratory, the other Euclideans will be rather uncertain in their conduct. We may find the watches very lax.
Well, now here's what we've got to do. Captain Bradford is planning on trying to sail Johnson's boat out after dark, and your mother is trying to get a message to Johnson that will let him know we'll be on the high seas without any fuel in the boat. Now, all that's all right, but I'm afraid Tex is leaving too much to chance here. Even if most of those guys are asleep, there'll be plenty of Euclideans who know how to handle those big ray guns and the submarines and all. And even without old G-47, I got a hunch somebody on that island is going to have sense enough to stop that boat before we get very far.
That is what I think, Jerry. But Mother and the Captain will not let me talk that way.
I know that, but this is something they won't know anything about until it's all over. You and I are going to take a crack at wrecking a couple of the most important places on the island.
You mean we will attempt to destroy certain valuable nerve centers in the island mechanism in order to guarantee their improper function when the time arrives to attack our boat?
No, I mean we'll bust up a few of the things they can't use them to stop us.
That is exactly what I said, Jerry.
Well, didn't sound the same to me. Anyway, just before dark tonight, you and I are going to leave this boat. We'll take a walk on the island, and when we get back to the boat, we'll have a mighty good chance of getting away from here.
Unless we are caught, Jerry, then we will not get away at all.
Yeah, I guess that's right. But we'll try it just the same. Now, we'd better get out on deck there and act like we'd been working on that mast.
You are right, Jerry. We must appear to have been very busy, so the captain and my mother will not be alarmed.
Yeah. I don't hear any noise around there. I guess they've got the mast set up again. Hey, stop, Joan.
What is it, Jerry?
One more thing we've got to do tonight, and it's the first thing. We've got to get our hands on one of those ray guns.
I will take care of that, Jerry. I have one for each of us.
You what? Where did you get them?
When we pretended to faint in the laboratory, I fell very close to the commander. When we left, I had both of her ray guns hidden in my dress.
Joan, you're swell.
I know it.
In just a few hours, the Gregory party will attempt to escape from the Magic Island. When the Gregory yacht, with Mrs. Gregory, Captain Tex Bradford, and Jerry Hall aboard, was captured and drawn to the strange island of Euclidia by magnetic force, a little homing pigeon was released to carry word of their trouble to another boat with Johnson on board. Johnson, in turn, released a pigeon which arrived safely at the Gregory yacht. And with the aid of these clever little birds, the prisoners have arrived at what seems to be a chance to escape. The Euclidean scientists are asleep in the chemical laboratory, victims of a formula Captain Bradford gave them. Jerry and Joan are in the radio cabin on the yacht, planning a desperate move to help Mrs. Gregory and the captain.
It's a slick plan, Joan, if we can only get away from this yacht to try it out.
I think if you leave that to me, Jerry, I will be able to give Mother and the captain a plausible excuse for our sudden desire to return to the island.
Well, if you can, with these two ray guns you swiped from the commander, we've got a chance to put it over. But I guess we'll have to get the plan all worked out before we leave here. There won't be any place we can talk without being heard once we get down inside that blamed island.
Oh, yes, Jerry. We may go to the sound channel, for one.
Yeah, that's right.
And there are many small rooms throughout the island where we may talk in privacy if the Euclideans are not using them.
Yeah, if.
There will be many of the chemists' private quarters vacant. Remember that every chemist on the island is asleep in the laboratory.
Yeah, but it isn't the chemists we're worrying about. It's the electrical engineers and the radio operators and the submarine guards. We've got to get past all of them some way and get our hands on the switches or whatever cuts off the current supply on this island. We've got to get everything shut off so there's no chance of the Euclideans doing anything to stop us when we sail out of here right after dark.
It can be done, Jerry. It will be dangerous and exciting, but it can be done.
Okay, kid. I'm with you if you say so. But now we've got to think up an excuse to get off this yacht and onto the island.
I think, Jerry, the best way is for us to tell Mother and the Captain what we intend trying to do.
They'll never let us do it.
I think they will. Captain Bradford will realize that our only hope is to render the island as nearly powerless as possible, and he will see instantly that you and I can move about in the island with greater freedom and less suspicion than would be allowed him.
It might work. We'll ask them anyhow. But remember this. If they say no, we'll find a way to go just the same.
Agreed, Jerry. We will, what you say, extract a rapid one.
You mean pull a fast one?
Exactly.
Ah, you're talking, Joan.
Oh, here are Mother and the Captain.
Don't spring it up too soon now.
What's that, Jerry? You and Joan going to spring something on us?
Maybe. After a while.
Joan, dear, you and Jerry both look very guilty about something. You haven't been getting into trouble, have you?
Oh, no, Mother. We merely have a little something to tell you and the Captain after a few minutes.
Well, I guess the mystery will keep. Just now I've got to get a message to Johnson, and I've got to get it to him quick.
You see, Jerry, Tex has run a wire through the holes in the sides of these boats and connected our transmitter to the aerial in the other boat.
Oh, swell, Tex. That ought to help a lot.
Yes, it will, but the batteries are nearly dead. I'm afraid to run the motors anymore for fear someone on the island will suspect something.
I think it is very dangerous, Captain, to try getting a message to Johnson. These Euclideans will surely understand what you are trying to do.
Don't you think, dear, that they were deceived about Johnson? That they believe Johnson came in here aboard his boat, don't they?
They do now, but it would take only a little suggestion to make them realize they had been tricked.
Hey, hold everything. I got an idea.
What is it, kid?
Well, it's pretty sure these Euclidean guys believe that McLeod is Johnson, all right?
Yes, Jerry. They believe that, as they had only heard his voice over the radio.
Then why not get Mac in here now? Let him send a message as Johnson, and that might help the idea along.
I'm afraid of that, Jerry.
Why, Pat?
Because they'd surely recognize the different voice when they heard it over the radio. Just now they believe Mac is Johnson because he's only spoken briefly to G47, pretended to have a sore throat then. But if he were to attempt to send a message... No, I think it'd do more harm than good.
You're right, Pat.
Sorry. Guess my idea wasn't so hot.
Never mind, Jerry. You will get another one someday.
Hey, I get them all the time.
Now, you two stop quarreling and give us a chance to send a message. Perhaps you'd better do it, Tex. You can work the initial code into it without writing it down. I'd have to scribble it out first.
Right. I'll see what I can do. Now, you can check this for me, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Copy what I sent. Then we'll see if I hit the code accurately enough for Johnson to decipher it. I'm afraid if I write it out, it'll sound so cut and dried, anyone would know what I'm trying to do.
I'm ready. Go to it.
May I copy it also, Captain?
Sure, Joan, but you may find it a little fast when you're not used to it.
I will try and keep up with you.
Quiet now. Let Tex get his message over.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry to butt in, and I know that message is important. But I've got to say just one more thing.
All right, Jerry, but time's worth money now.
I know it, but I think you'll see where this is worth the time. Now, wouldn't it be better if you could get that message out without the Euclideans being able to intercept it? I mean, even if they could hear it, wouldn't it be better to know it was at least getting past the edge of the island?
Of course, Jerry, but that's impossible. All we can hope for is to get enough of the message outside the magnetic ring to do some good before they realize its value and stop our beam.
But suppose your beam is being stopped at all times. Then the Euclideans have your message. They may take their time in deciphering it, but long before dark, before you are ready to attempt the escape, they will know your plans and be ready to spoil them.
I know all that, Joan, but we've got to take the chance.
Oh, no, you don't, Tex. Look, if you let Joan and I try something...
That is right, Jerry. I feel this is the time to tell them.
Tell us what? Have you two a plan of real value?
We think it is, but you've got to let us tell you the whole thing before you say no.
Well, get on with it, son. If it sounds possible, we'll let you try it anyhow.
There, Jerry, you see? Now tell them about it.
Well, Joan and I figured we could get around a lot of places on the island easier than you two, because the Euclideans think Tex has got all the sense in this outfit.
Go on, Jerry.
And the first thing we need right now is to be sure of two things. First, that we can get a message to that boat Johnson's on and let him know we're going to make a break for it.
Right so far.
And also, we must make sure that no one on this island will be in a position to stop us when we take the boat out after dark tonight.
Well, of course, those things would be nice. It's rather foolish to talk about arranging it so easily.
Yes, I'm afraid you've taken on too big an order, Jerry.
Oh, no, sir, we haven't. Now, listen carefully to this. Joan knows a lot of the rooms in the island where we can talk without being heard on the rest of the island. And if we can make our way from one of these rooms to the other, and take over control of each section we pass through, we can finally get the main control rooms and shut off all the electricity on the island. Then they can't make a move. And we can get our radio messages out first, then fix it so the boat can sail, and no one will ever know it till it's too late to stop us.
Why, Jerry, that's madness. You and Joan will most certainly do no such thing.
Not while I know it. Why, you kids wouldn't have a chance.
I think we would have a very good chance, Captain.
Oh, sure, Tex. Let us try it. Please. We can put it over. Please.
No, Tex, I won't permit it.
Neither will I. Why, you kids would just be getting started when one of those Euclideans would turn a ray gun on you. And when you woke up, you'd be prisoners in one of their submarine cells. Our escape would be hopeless, as we certainly wouldn't leave without you.
But what if Jerry and I were using the ray guns ourselves, and were very careful to let no one see us? What then?
Well, of course you might have a chance then, but where would you get the ray guns?
I have 2 of them.
Joan, you what?
You've got 2 of those things?
Sure she has. And they're the 5-minute kind, the 300-second ray, the Euclideans call them.
But how did you get them, dear? I thought the Euclideans guarded those guns with their lives.
When Jerry and I were in the laboratory and the gas fumes from the captain's formula put all the Euclideans to sleep, Jerry and I fell as if we were also overcome. And I took care to fall near the commander, almost on her, in fact. And when the others were all asleep and Jerry and I stood up to run out, I had both of the commander's ray guns hidden in my dress.
Joan, that's one of the finest things I ever heard of.
Joan, dear, your mother's so proud of you.
Didn't I tell you she was slick? And now what do you think of our chances?
You will surely allow us to go now, will you not?
Well, I don't know. The idea of you kids running around inside that island with a couple of those ray guns doesn't make much of a hit with me.
No, the guns make it even more dangerous. If you two were unarmed, you'd probably be taken without harm and merely confined in a cell. But with those things, you'd take chances and deliberately run into danger. No, I don't like it.
Oh, but gee, Mrs. Gregory, if Joan and I did all right about getting ourselves into that laboratory now and again, and if Joan's clever enough to get those guns, we ought to have a chance to show what we can do.
Yes, Mother. Jerry and I are quite capable of taking care of ourselves, and it should be our privilege to contribute at least a portion of the energy expended toward our ultimate freedom.
She means we ought to get a crack at helping things along.
Please, Captain Bradford, we will be very careful.
Oh, sure, Tex. Joan and I will watch every move, and before we get caught, we'll run right back to you. How's that?
Well, Pat,
You'd let them go if I would, wouldn't you, Tex?
Yes, dear, that's a big chance for them. If you and I fail to get off this island our own way, we've not only let them down, but we refuse them a chance to help themselves and all of us.
You're right, Tex. I'm only being a woman about it. It's a little hard for me to think of Joan taking such chances. For 14 years, I've searched the world over for her. Now, only a few days after I found her, I must let her go again. Go into danger because of me.
Oh, forget it, Mrs. Gregory. I'll take care of Joan. No matter what happens, I'll look out for her. And you and the captain can do a lot more good by being right here on this boat and having everything ready to shove off as soon as it gets dark.
All right, you and Kid. Well, it seems funny for Pat and me to sit here and let you kids run these risks. Well, I know it's a sensible thing to do.
Now, Captain Bradford, if you will give me the message you were going to send in the hope Johnson might hear it, I will copy it. And Jerry and I may get a chance to send it from the Euclidean control chamber.
Yeah, then we'd know it got out all right.
But wouldn't it be heard other places on the island?
Not if we were able to operate the controls ourselves. We could regulate the beam transmission apparatus so that the message could only be picked up by a radio receiver and not by the electric ears around the island.
You certainly know this island, Joan.
I have had 14 years in which to learn of it. Now, may I have the message, Captain?
Right, Joan. I'll give it to you slowly and you can copy it. And we'll see if the code comes out right.
You may speak as rapidly as you wish.
Do you know shorthand, Joan?
I do not understand what you mean. I merely make small marks for big words.
Well, that's shorthand, all right. Come on, let's get going.
Right. Here it is. Call any station. Sign the Gregory yacht. Here is the message. Every indication, going half trouble. Possibly may feel, unwise even, leave free in this yacht. Many islanders, lying in forced sleep, don't indicate especially sincere enjoyment. Longer, unusual silence. Envelops are waiting now. Perhaps later advice. Nearer solution.
The first letter of each word will spell the message we want Johnson to get.
I have it translated. 8 p.m. Fuel 50 miles. Diesel. Use own plans.
If Johnson gets that, we're saved sure.
Johnson will get it.
speaking what a fellow means when he says it was a fair fight. Turns out to be I won the way I expected to. Avak was in a position that they weren't supposed to win. They were going to have to use an unexpected method. Of course, that would be called unfair, wouldn't it?
Right over here, Captain Bratton. Just take a seat, and I'll be with you in a moment.
Oh, thanks. Nothing special the Immigration Department wants to see me about, is there? I mean, if it's those new fungoid life forms you're worried about.
No, Captain, it's not fungoid life forms. Let's see. Your ship just arrived here at Terra an hour ago.
Yes, we docked at LaGuardia Field at 4 p.m. In fact, I haven't even had time
Has your crew left the ship yet?
No, sir. After all, I am conscious of the great responsibility we intersystem cargo carriers have regarding the importation of non-terrestrial toxins and microbodies and unicellular life.
Captain, I'm not a bacteriologist. My name's Jeffy. I'm a psychologist.
I see, sir.
Just what do you see?
You're making a check to see if I'm space-worthy, not neurotic or cracking up under the stress. And you jot down notes, and just from little slips a man makes because he's tired and needs a rest and a shower and a couple of beers at a high-class bar and maybe a few days of quiet in the country, away from always worrying about a meteor breaking through the hull. I admit I am somewhat knocked out. Who wouldn't be? I brought this cargo in from Deneb. We've been out there between systems, the long haul, for 13 months. And we got nothing to apologize for. You let me rest up. How about trying that instead of badgering us with psychological questions?
I'm sorry, Captain. Now, let's see. You visited the 6th planet to the Deneb system. Avak or something like that?
Avak.
Did you and your crew enjoy your stay there?
Well, they treated us okay. We were 3 weeks loading. During that time, we mostly just strolled around taking things easy. Wasn't much to see. Mostly just small towns, factories. They make ceramic household goods. That was our cargo, in fact. That's a darn small planet they've got there, sir, and overcrowded. Every half mile there's a factory going like crazy, and the air's so full of smoke from the stacks you can hardly breathe. Sir, they've got almost no raw materials. But out of what they have, plus the synthetics they've developed, they're able to turn out so much pottery that you'll find it everywhere in the galaxy. It's amazing. Every system you visit, you see vases, salt shakers, flower pots. They're all marked, made at Avak. Just think what they could do if they had a sufficient supply of raw materials. Makes you wonder.
Yes, it does make you wonder.
They fought a little war back about 10 years with the other planets of their system. Beat them, too. But it didn't do them any good. The other planets were just as depleted.
Captain, I want you to examine something.
Oh, yes, sir. That's an Avakian space mine. Seeks out the target by beaming in on the target's heat. They used that in a couple of 3 wars.
Awful thing. Look at that boring snout.
Mm-hmm.
I'm told it cuts its way through the hull of a ship to the wall of a building until it actually gets to a living creature. Then...
Yes, sir. It's a vicious weapon. The troops called them leeches. But that was 10 years ago, sir. Now they're a commercial planet. They threw out the military leaders and voted in a business administration. They're all for trade and culture exchange now. They learned their lesson.
Did they? Captain, while you were on Avak, did you buy and bring back here with you any toys for your children?
Just as a fair fight hasn't been well defined, neither is the concept toy. Take a portable typewriter, for instance. Is this a toy for a child? Or is it the working tool of a newspaper reporter? It isn't really what the thing is, but how you think about it, what you intend to do with it. What is a toy? A toy for children.
While you were on Avak, did you buy and bring back here with you any toys for your children?
Well, as a matter of fact...
I'd like to see what toys you bought on Avak. Let's have a look.
Well, they're back on the ship in my cabin.
Captain, I'd like you to glance at this particular toy. It showed up a month or so ago. Possibly you saw something like it in the store in Avak.
It looks like an ordinary set of model soldiers to me. British Grenadiers, I guess. Very authentic, too. Gosh, look at the detail on the uniforms.
Yes, it's amazing. You'd think they were real. Genuine British soldiers of centuries ago, standing 3 inches high. And their cannons. You'd almost expect those cannons to fire, wouldn't you?
Fine workmanship.
Well, Captain, the cannons do fire.
No kidding.
I'll show you. I'm using now what is called a ramrod. Ramming the powder and shot in. Just a second. There. Now it's ready.
They must use watchmaker's tools, microscopic precision.
I'll fire it out the window. Ready?
Ready.
Yes, guards, will you begin clearing the debris? I'm sorry, I meant it to explode entirely outside the building. Must have caught a corner of the window.
This is terrible.
Now, to the soldiers. They're dead, of course. Dead? Well, let's say inert. We destroyed their neural systems with high voltage.
What?
We simply took the cartons of soldiers and put a charge through them. They're fragile. It's hard, even for a people uniquely talented in microscopic assembly, to produce a workable robot only 3 inches high.
I see. Of course, robots.
Yeah, look at this.
Well, I'd say this is, it looks like a little toy telephone set. Gosh, we had those when I was a kid. Talk to the kid across the street, transmit for a block or more.
Talk into it. Here, I'll get out the mate and answer you. In fact, I'll go stand over here, away from you with it. Okay, Captain, can you hear me?
I hear you, sir.
Say something foul.
Sir?
You're a spaceman. Think of the foulest oath you can remember. Say it into the phone.
Okay, sir. You know, sir, it's the darndest thing. I guess I must be nervous. I can't.
Try.
I can't, sir. I can't think of anything foul.
All right. That's what I wanted to show you, Captain. The phone acts to inhibit the speech center of persons near it. Sort of damper. Actually, the technique was known to us. We used it during World War III, during brain-cleansing therapy. You know, obliterating hostilities from the minds of enemy prisoners.
Sure.
But to incorporate it into a child's toy. You see, Captain, a child exposed to this mechanism over a long period of time would develop a docility, a passivity, an inability to feel angry or aggressive. In other words...
Brain cleansed.
Now look at this.
What seems to be... Yes, it's one of those question and answer games. You know, you get a buzz if you guess the right answer.
I'll fit a question sheet over the terminal. With this toy, the child develops a rudimentary knowledge of natural facts on a variety of topics. Now, let's see. This top sheet consists of questions on growing plants and flowers.
Hey, let's try something different.
All right. How about great composers?
No, I think I'd like to try this sheet titled The Human Body. I used to know something about that. I took a college correspondence course in biology during a long trip out.
Very well. I'll plug in question 3. The digestive system breaks down protein foods into what simple molecule?
Amino acids. Answer number 9. Plug the answer wire onto the number 9 terminal.
I agree. Amino acids is right.
Oh, what's the matter then? It works normally.
Now try it the way we started. Question 3 with answer 9. You won't get a buzz this time.
Well, but we did get a buzz, and it's right.
Yes, we got a buzz before, but we won't get one now. See, Captain, there's a circuit in this thing that randomizes the buzz. The child, using this so-called educational toy, will get correct answers to start with. Then the randomization sets in, and before he is sure enough of his own knowledge to contradict it, his meager fund of accurate facts will be gradually distorted, not wiped out, but altered more and more, until he is confused.
But why?
So he'll be convinced that there is no such thing as a correct answer. And now I'd like to see the toys you brought back with you. Let's go to your ship and have a look at them.
The man who won the last war always wants his methods of fighting a war to be the ultimate weapons, because he wins with those. But what is the real ultimate weapon? A weapon that no other weapon can touch. How about the weapon of changing your enemy into a friend, or changing your enemy so he doesn't even try to defeat you? Wouldn't that be a more powerful weapon than any possible attacking device?
This is my younger kid, Charles. He's 9.
What is it?
Well, can't you tell?
Looks like a costume.
Yeah, I'll spread it out.
What kind of a costume is it? I don't see any identifying features. Looks more like a sack. A gray sack.
I shopped around Avak for days before I ran across this. Here, I'll put it on. Yeah, right sleeve. Left. Yeah.
Explain it, Captain.
But can't you see?
No, you're simply inside a gray sack. That's all I can see.
I'm a cowboy.
What?
This is a cowboy suit. More than that. Of course, it takes a few minutes.
Good Lord. It's changing color.
So am I. Changing me into a cowboy. Darn it, I said I was a cowboy, and I am. Now, I don't mean I'm just pretending to be a cowboy. I mean as long as I'm wearing this material around me, I actually become a cowboy. Notice I've got chaps on my legs? I put this on a couple of times on the trip back, me and the crew both. Really got a kick out of it. Looky here. I got me a 6-gun.
Where did that gun come from?
Grew out of the suit.
And your head's expanding and turning black.
Nah. That's my 10-gallon black felt hat.
Incredible.
Put 'em up, partner.
Why, your skin looks like leather.
Is that your idea of a humorous remark, partner?
Take it off. Take what off? That material before it's too late. Take it off before you're so far down in that fantasy world you can't get back. Like they intended it. Take it off.
Just when I was beginning to enjoy myself. You know, friend, when I was just a little tyke, I used to pine to be back in the good old days and ride the reins. Back when you could smell the sagebrush growing out in the free country where... What was I saying?
Why, a cowboy.
Why, I always wanted to be a cowboy.
Would it be the same for me, I wonder?
Oh, no.
I put it on?
It's whatever your fantasy is. Now, Charles probably will use it to become a 20th century businessman. Gray flannel suit, Ivy League. He reads all those old adventures about New York before it was destroyed. Those advertising operas.
Give me that material. I'm impounding it.
But why? What's wrong? It just helps a kid act out perfectly normal childhood fantasies. Charles plays advertising exec all day long. With this, he can...
A child couldn't possibly hold out against it. It almost got you, and you're a grown man. Do you want to lose your child? Is that what you want? Do you want to see him disappear down into a fantasy world and never return? Let's see what else you brought back.
Yeah. Only one more toy. Actually, it's a game for my older boy, Pete. He's 12.
Open it up.
Yeah. It's called Enterprise. I figure all the kids in the block can play. It's a lot of fun. A bunch of us played it on the trip back.
Can two play?
Mm-hmm. 2 players up to 8.
Very well, let's play.
Each player buys shares with money borrowed from the other players. Now, at any time, a creditor can demand payment either in shares or in money. But as soon as a player ceases to extend credit, he must show what shares he holds. He has to show which groups he's been able to get control of. From then on, he has to bid out in the open, with everyone else knowing what he's got shares in.
I bid 3,000 solar units for 2 shares of Neptune Non-Ferric Ores Incorporated.
Make it 4,000 and the shares are yours.
4,000.
Sold. Okay. Now, you owe me 600,000 solar units. And I owe you 355,000 solar units. I demand payment of the difference.
Let's see. I don't have 245,000 units worth of stock.
Yes, you do. If you turn in your Martian Diamond Mines Limited.
Oh, but that's my best bluff. That corners you from the inner planets.
Put it in or call the game over.
All right, it's in.
Game's over.
But why?
I have enough solar units left to buy all your remaining stock. So in terms of profit and loss, you're wiped out.
Yes, I guess you're right. Very well, you wind up with 3 expensive groups. And I don't have any.
Well, do you see anything harmful in this game? All I can see myself is that it teaches a child the basic facts of economic life, and that's something every child should know.
No, I have to admit I find nothing subversive in this game. In fact, it's nothing but a variant of an old Terran parlor game called Monopoly. Yes, you can retain this toy, Captain. It meets with immigration specifications.
Well, that's a relief.
Sorry to have caused you so much trouble. I'll go and interview your crew and see what children's artifacts they brought back. You can go to your hotel now.
Can you find your way around the ship?
Oh, yes, I'm used to it. I'll see you again, and next time you're down.
All right.
Hope your children enjoy playing Enterprise. Matter of fact, I enjoyed it myself. Might have you bring in a set for me next night. Sure. Anything to accommodate the immigration department. Well, I better get all the pieces back in the box before they get lost. Heck, in that game, Monopoly, the player who wound up with the most money and property won the game. And in Enterprise, the winner is the one who's wiped out. Hey, I'll bet he didn't realize he beat me. But he didn't have a solar unit or a share of stock left. He won by a clean sweep.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. Today begins for Superman an adventure which, if not the oddest in his career, is certainly the most mysterious. An adventure filled with action, suspense, and some of the strangest characters we have yet met. Our story begins in the office of Editor White at the Daily Planet. Listen.
Oh, come in, Ken. Come in, Jimmy. All packed and ready to start, I see.
Yes, Chief. Jimmy and I have come to say goodbye.
Shiver my timbers if we haven't.
What?
Our duffel's all ready and we're all set to shove off.
Listen to the old salt.
Old salt.
Oh, gosh, Mr. Kent, if we're going around the world on the last of the clipper ships, I gotta talk so the crew will understand me, don't I?
They'll understand you without all that nautical gibberish. Now, sit down, you two. The Clara M doesn't sail for another hour, and I've got some things to talk over with you, Kent.
Gosh, Mr. White, we've got to get on board and stow our duffel.
If you don't stow your talk, young man, you won't go aboard at all.
Now, don't mind Jimmy, Chief. He's just bubbling over with excitement and anxious to get started. What did you want to talk to me about?
I just want to be sure, Kent, that you understand what you're to do on this voyage you're taking.
Oh, now, Chief, we've been over this 100 times since you first thought of the idea.
And we'll go over it 100 more if I think it necessary. I want to be sure you understand the articles you're going to write from every angle.
Sometimes, Chief, I find myself feeling sorry the owner of this paper ever bought the Clara M.
Oh, gosh, I don't. I think of the places we're going to. South America, Borneo, India, Africa. Gosh, I get so excited I can hardly talk. Blow me down if I don't.
I'll blow you down with pleasure if you don't shut up.
Yes, sir.
Now, Kent, as you know, this is all in the way of a publicity campaign to build circulation for the paper. The Clara M is the last of the old clipper ships. That's going to be your lead.
Last of the clipper ships. I've got it.
Into these articles you're going to write, you've got to put all the romance, all the color of the Clara M's past, contrasting that with the future that awaits her.
Yes?
This is her last voyage, Kent. When you return with her, Mr. Barwick, the owner of the paper, plans to tie her up to a dock and turn her into a marine museum.
Sure, Chief. But look, I know all this, and we're anxious to get down to the ship.
I want to be sure that you know it. Well, Barwick's all excited about this idea of his. And these articles you're going to write, Kent, telling how it feels to be making this romantic voyage in the last of the clipper ships, have got to be great stuff. Now, just let's be sure you've got your facts straight. The Clara M was built in 1889.
1879, Mr. White. Excuse me.
What's that?
Yes, sir. Her keel was laid in June of the year 1878 at Aberdeen, Scotland, and she cleared from that city for the first time in August of 1879. She was built for speed in the China tea trade. Her hull is of teak, her decks are mahogany, and...
All right, Jimmy. All right. I guess you'll concede, Chief, there's hardly anything you can tell us about the Clara M.
Excuse me. Yes? Who wants to see me? Mr. Barnaby. What's he want? Oh, won't say, eh? I see. I'll tell him to wait. Well, Kent, it looks as if you and young Moby Dick here have everything straight. But all you've got into the articles you send back. Make people buy the Daily Planet just to read what you've got to say about the last of the clipper ships. Is that understood?
Don't worry, Chief.
Well, I won't be seeing you two for a long time. Good luck and bon voyage.
Thanks, Chief. All right, Jim, pick up your duffel and let's shove off.
Aye, aye, sir.
Oh, tell Miss Kenyon to send Mr. Barnaby in, will you?
Right. Goodbye, Chief. Goodbye,
All right,
sir.
goodbye.
Miss Kenyon, you can send Mr. Barnaby in.
I hate to see those two go. Gonna miss them. But I'd never let them know it. Well, I guess I'd better...
Ahoy, mate.
Oh, what the... Oh, Mr. Barnaby?
Aye, same.
Sit down.
Hold it here, I'm sure. I'll move this chair back from your desk, you might see, and I've got to keep my leg out in front of me, and I'll need the room.
Leg?
Aye, mate. It's made of teak. The finest this side of the China Sea. That's why I'm called Teak Barnaby. Count of my leg.
Oh, I see. Well, what can I do for you?
Yep. Being a good seafarer man, I'll steer my course straight to the point. The owner of this newspaper, Mr. Barwick, bought a clipper ship named the Clara M, and I want to buy her.
I'm afraid she's not for sale, Mr. Barnaby.
Teak Barnaby was never one for bargaining, sir. So just forget the preliminaries and name your price. I'll meet it.
I meant what I said, Barnaby. The Clara M is not for sale. Mr. Barwick bought the ship for the one purpose of developing a publicity campaign to boost the paper circulation. As a matter of fact, she's sailing within the hour for a trip around the world with one of my best reporters on board.
There too, matey. Teak Barnaby's always got what he went after. Now, I'll pay you any price.
You're wasting my time and your own, Barnaby. I repeat, the Clara M is not for sale.
Matey, everything has its price.
Yes, if it's for sale. Now, look here, Barnaby. Just why are you so anxious to buy the Clara M?
I have my reasons.
What reason?
I don't like your tone, matey. You make it sound as if wanting to buy a sailing vessel was a crime.
I never said that.
Aye, but you implied it. Now, trim your sheets and listen to me. I want the Clara M, and I intend having her. What my reasons may or may not be is no wind out of your sails, so you'd best not inquire into them. Now then, what's your price?
Well, of all the colossal nerve, I think it's time you left.
You won't sell?
I will not. I'll get out.
You're making a mistake, matey. A great mistake.
That's my lookout. Good day, sir.
Good day, matey. If you'd care to reconsider...
Good day.
You've made a mistake, matey.
By heaven, if you don't get out of
here... Me too. I'm shoving off.
We're supposed to sail in less than an hour, and you still haven't signed on a crew.
There's a new batch of men on their way over from the Seaman's Rest, Mr. Kent. We won't have any trouble getting a crew.
Gosh, Captain Hawkins, we expected to find you aboard the Clara M with a crew and everything, all set to sail.
I know.
What seems to be the trouble, Captain?
Why, there's no trouble, Mr. Kent. It's just that men don't go in sail anymore these days. Sailing means hard work. Harder work than you'd find aboard modern ships, and the accommodations aren't any too good. But, Mr. Kent, here come the men I was speaking about. We'll have a crew in no time at all.
We've come over from the Seaman's Rest to sign on, sir.
Line up before the desk, you men.
Aye, sir.
One at a time. All right. Now then, you. What's your name?
Patrick Finity, sir.
What berth?
Able seaman, sir.
Sign here.
Aye, sir.
There's a pen.
Thank you, sir. And what would be the name of the ship, sir?
The name? Oh, the Clara M. Sign here.
Begging your pardon, sir, I've changed my mind. I won't be sailing with you.
As you like.
Just a moment, Captain. Why won't this man...
It's all right, Mr. Kent. Don't worry. Next.
Right, sir.
Your name?
Angus Mackenzie.
What berth?
Able seaman.
Sign here, mister.
Right here. Aye, sir.
Go ahead, man. Finish signing.
I beg pardon, sir. Did I hear the name Clara M?
You did? What of it?
Nothing, sir, only no signing on.
Just a minute.
Now, Mr. Kent.
Why won't you sign on? What's the trouble?
There's no trouble, sir. I've changed my mind, that's all.
Looks like they've all changed their minds. They're walking out.
So I see. Captain Hawkins...
It's as I say, Mr. Kent. They know the Clara M is a sailing vessel, and the minute they hear the name, they decide it's too much work.
There seems to be more behind it than that.
Now, please don't worry.
I'll get a crew. Just leave it to me. We may not sail within the hour, but we'll sail.
Well, all right. Well, Jimmy, since it looks as if we're going to be here for some time, I'd suggest we drop over to that cafeteria at the end of the dock there and have a sandwich.
Okay, Mr. Kent. I am feeling a little hungry.
All right. We won't be long, Captain.
Take your time, Mr. Kent, and don't worry. I may have a crew signed on by the time you get back. I see another batch of men coming this way now.
Well, I hope so, Captain. I hope so. Feel better, Jim?
I sure do, Mr. Kent. That sandwich and milk sure hit the spot.
Good. Let's get back to the dock, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, I wonder if Captain Hawkins has signed on anyone as yet.
So do I. Sure was funny, those men changing their minds the minute they heard the name Clara M.
Well, Captain Hawkins' reason may be the right one. It may be that they just...
Ahoy, Kent!
What?
Hey, show on there! Ahoy!
What the... Oh, it's Captain Hawkins, Mr. Kent. There he is at the rail of the Clara M.
Oh, what's he doing on board? I expected him to be in the dock office. Ahoy, Captain! What is it?
Come aboard, man, and hurry. We're making ready to sail.
You mean you've got a crew?
I have indeed.
Well, I'll be... Come on, Jim.
Aye, aye, sir.
Yeah, watch the gangplank there. Watch the gangplank. Yeah. Well, Mr. Kent, are you surprised?
Surprised is hardly the word, Captain. How did you manage it?
Luck, Mr. Kent, luck. That batch of men coming in as you were leaving signed on, every one.
What?
As fine a crew as you'd ever want to see. The first mate's actually been in sail back in the old days.
Yeah?
Hey, you'll want to know him. I'll call him over. Oh, you mustn't mind his looks, and I wouldn't pay too much attention to his leg.
His leg?
Yes, he's got a wooden leg. Here he comes now.
Well, matters are beginning to take a strange turn. What lies behind Mr. Barnaby signing on the Clara M as first mate? And why was it so difficult to sign a crew on the old clipper ship? Be sure to hear the next thrill-packed episode of our mystery with Superman.
Tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman. Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman. Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. In our last episode, we heard how Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen were about to set sail for a cruise around the world on the Clara M, last of the old clipper ships. After Kent and Jimmy left Editor White to go aboard the boat, Teak Barnaby, a one-legged sailor, called on White and attempted to buy the Clara M at any price. Turned down, Barnaby stormed from the office. Meanwhile, at the waterfront, Clark Kent and Jimmy discover that Captain Hawkins of the Clara M is having trouble signing on a crew. For some strange reason, men refuse to sail on the Clara M. Kent and Jimmy leave, and then, on their return, find that a crew has been signed. Listen.
Aye, Mr. Kent. As fine a crew as you'd want to see anywhere. The first mate's actually been in sail back in the old days. You'll want to know him. I'll call him over. Oh, you mustn't mind his looks, and I wouldn't pay too much attention to his leg.
His leg?
Aye, it's wooden, you see, made of teak wood. Oh, here he comes now. Mr. Barnaby. Mr. Barnaby, over this way.
Holy mackerel, Mr. Kent. Look at that. A real wooden leg.
You wanted me, sir?
Aye, mister, I did. I want to make you acquainted with Mr. Kent and young Jimmy Olsen. Mr. Kent is the reporter I told you about, who's going to write that series of articles about the last voyage of the Clara M.
Pleasure, Mr. Barnaby.
Well, it is that, matey. So we're to have a lad aboard, too, are we?
Aye, sir. I'm coming, too.
Well, keep your ears open and your eyes peeled, laddie, and you'll learn a lot. Blow me down if a voyage in an old windjammer like the Clara M ain't the finest education a boy can have.
I'll try to learn, sir.
Mr. Barnaby, we'd best be underway. There's a freshening breeze, and we can just catch the tide if we're quick about it.
Aye, sir. We'll weigh anchor. Man the windlass! Man the windlass!
Holy mackerel, what a voice.
Hey, the first mate on an old windjammer needs a good pair of lungs, laddie.
It would appear that way.
Break sail! Break sail! Put your backs into your trawling catfish. On the line there, you. All together now. Heave! Heave! Hey, you up on the mainsail. Up to it, man. Where away there? Where away? Cut on me for a Chinese pirate. I've yet to see the likes of such a crew.
Gosh, Mr. Kent, listen to him.
Your sails are filling, Mr. Barnaby.
Aye, sir. You on the wheel there. That's the answer.
Aye, sir, the answer.
Well, we're on the way, sir.
Take over, Mr. Barnaby. Your course is due south.
Aye, sir.
And so, with the mysterious peg-leg Mr. Barnaby aboard, the Clara M set sail on her last voyage around the world. Sails billowing in a spanking breeze, she cuts the water southward bound. Night falls over the sea, and in the cabin of Captain Hawkins, Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen sit down to their first dinner aboard ship.
Oh, gosh, I'm so hungry I could eat a whale.
Well, dig in, lad, dig in.
Well, there's an extra plate set, I see, Captain.
Aye. Mr. Barnaby will be along shortly.
He's a strange sort of man, Captain.
Aye, he is, but you'll find many a queer one at sea, Mr. Kent.
He seems pleasant enough, but there's something in the way he looks at you. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Sounds like him coming now.
Aye, it's Barnaby, all right.
Ahoy, mate.
Barnaby.
Barnaby.
Well, lad, how are you finding your first meal at sea?
It sure is exciting. Gosh, with the creaking of this old ship and those oil lamps swinging back and forth above us, why, it's like a scene out of a movie.
That it is.
Fog clearing any, Mr. Barnaby?
No, it's thickening, and that's a fact. Making up soupy, I'd say. I've given orders to use the horn if it gets any thicker.
Aye. Well, you seem quiet, Mr. Kent. Not saying much.
Oh, I've been wondering ever since we sailed, Captain. Can't quite understand how you managed to sign on a crew in such quick time. Especially when you'd been having such trouble getting a crew before.
Well, as I explained to you, Mr. Barnaby and the rest of the men came along at that precise moment, all looking for berths.
Aye, a piece of luck, I'd say. Well, this is the first I've heard of you having trouble signing on a crew, Captain.
Yeah, little, not much.
Well, I'd lay most of them had heard the rumor about the Clara M.
Rumor? Oh, what kind of a rumor, Mr. Barnaby? Gosh, what's that?
That's a foghorn, lad. Fog must be thickening. Well, now, as to that rumor...
You'd best leave off that, mister. It's nothing but waterfront gossip.
Aye, and therefore harmless to the lad. You see, lad, every ship has its superstition attached to it. And the Clara M is no exception.
What sort of a superstition, Mr. Barnaby?
You haven't heard about the Whistler?
The Whistler?
Aye, lad. Oh, 'tain't much to tell. The legend has it that many years ago, the first mate, like myself, had a fondness for whistling. Whistle like a bird, he could. You could always tell when he was about, for he was never done whistling. Well, as the legend has it, he had taken the wheel one night in a howling gale. One of them nights when the sea's kicking up, hurling wave after wave over the decks. Well, lad, the first mate took the wheel that night and was never heard from again.
Oh, what happened to him?
Well, there's some who say he was washed overboard, and some who say he just vanished. But every sailorman's agreed that he still sails in spirit with a Clara M, and that sometimes you can hear him whistling.
Gosh. There goes that foghorn again. Do you believe the Whistler still sails on the Clara M, Mr. Barnaby?
Of course not, of course not. A silly superstition, lad. Nothing more, nothing more.
Why did you sign on for this trip, Mr. Barnaby?
Well, Mr. Kid, I needed a berth, and I take no stock in superstitions.
Does the Whistler come at any time, Mr. Barnaby, or does his whistle mean something?
Well, lad, you said...
Mr. Barnaby, I've had enough of this stupid talk.
Why, sir, I was
That
merely...
will be all, mister.
Aye, sir. More potatoes, lad?
No, thank you.
Wait.
Gosh, it's the whistler.
Nonsense, lad. It's just
Whoever's whistling is standing right outside on deck. I suggest we...
Wait, matey. He's moving off. Come on, follow me. If it's one of the crew, I want to know about it. See you coming, Captain?
Aye, I'll come. But it's nothing but Tommy rot, I tell you. Tommy rot.
Seems to be off down the deck there, toward the bow.
Come along.
You can't see your hand in front of you in this fog. Whoever's whistling is getting farther away all the time.
Let's hurry, mate. We don't want to lose him.
Gosh, what with this fog and that strange whistling up ahead, why should anybody be whistling at a time like this?
It may be a warning, lad.
A warning?
Oh, now I've done it when I've had orders from Captain Hawkins to say never a word.
You mean that whistling may be a warning of something about to happen?
Aye. Just said, mate, that when you hear the whistler... Wait. It's gone. I don't hear it any longer.
Neither do I. It seems to... What's that?
Cry for help. Behind us. Where's the captain?
He must have dropped back. Come along, lad. Mr. Kane.
Right with you.
You may be right with him, Jim. This is beginning to look more and more like a job for Superman.
I've got a feeling Captain Hawkins went overboard, and I'd better check on that right now. Good thing my eyes can pierce this fog. Strange things happening on board this ship. Very strange. Wait. There he is. Floundering in the water, astern of us. Only one thing to do. Skim out over the water and bring him back here on deck before he knows what's happened to him. Up! Up! And away!
Mr. Kent, where are you?
This way, Jimmy. Mr. Barnaby. I found the captain.
Golly, what happened to him?
That's what I'd like to know. You're wringing wet.
I must have slipped and gone over the rail.
Well, perhaps you were pushed.
No, I fell.
Well, holy mackerel, if you fell overboard, how'd you get back on deck?
I don't know. Somehow. I remember someone holding me up in the water. Then everything went black.
Hey, I'd best take you below, sir. Come along. I'll give you a hand.
Need any help, Mr. Barnaby?
Oh, no, I can manage. I'll take care of you. Have no fear. There you are. Sit down there, sir. You know me.
What do you make of all this? Whistler and then Captain Hawkins falling overboard.
I don't know, Jimmy. One thing I do know. I don't think Captain Hawkins fell overboard.
Huh?
No sea captain ever fell off a ship. A deliberate attempt was made on his life, and he knows it, yet he tried to pretend otherwise.
Gosh, that doesn't make sense.
That's not the only thing that doesn't make sense. There's something strange about Captain Hawkins signing on this crew. There's something strange about our first mate, Mr. Barnaby.
But why?
I don't know, Jimmy. I'm going to make it my business to find out. Yes, 7 bells, but all is not well. Not well at all.
What is the strange mystery aboard the Clara M? What truth is there to the legend of the Whistler? Strange and exciting adventures await our friends aboard the old clipper ship. So be sure to hear the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
In exactly 6 minutes and 45 seconds, there will be an important announcement from Space Academy Supply Headquarters. So stand by. And now, Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Stand by. by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Corbett, Space Cadet. Four previous expeditions have gone hurtling through space to distant Delport, a planet outside our solar system, and have never been heard from again. Now the Polaris has landed on the planet's surface, but almost immediately its Space Cadet crew finds itself marooned there by a nova explosion. Setting up camp in a veritable tropical paradise, they are about to make repairs on their ship when Tom Corbett discovers signs of habitation, and at once the Space Cadets set out to investigate.
Close up, men. Stay together.
We must be getting pretty close to the colony now, Captain Strong.
Yes, Corbett. It should be just over that next rise.
I'm keeping my parallel ray handy, Captain.
All right, Manning. But remember, men, no matter what we find, you're not to fire unless I give the order. Is that clear?
Aye, sir.
Right.
Hold up a minute, Captain.
What is it?
I thought I caught a glint of metal through the brush over there.
I see it too, sir.
About 5 yards to my left. Shall I investigate?
Go ahead, Manning. We'll cover you.
Take it easy, Roger. Jumping jets, look what I found.
What is it, Manning? Come on, then.
How do you like this? The wreck of a spaceship.
It's one of ours. You can tell that at a glance.
Well, there's the answer, Captain Strong. This is the wreck of one of the earlier expeditions.
Sure, and those huts we saw must belong to the survivors.
Quite right, gentlemen. Quite right on both counts.
Jumping Jupiter, where'd he come from? Watch it, Roger. Keep that gun down.
By the rings of Saturn, sir, you must be...
Captain Yates of the Cygnus. Ah, yes.
Well, that was Expedition 1.
I think I know you, too, sir. Aren't you Captain Strong of the Solar Guard?
That's right. I'm mighty glad we found you, Captain Yates. You've been given up for lost, you know.
Naturally. It's been such a long time, dear me. Well, now that you're here, let me welcome you to my planet, gentlemen.
Thank you.
By all the suns, you don't know how good it is to see someone from Earth again.
We almost overlooked your valley, Captain. If we hadn't been flying low, we would have missed it.
Well, I'm certainly glad you didn't. Not that we have much hospitality to offer here, but if you'll come along to the village, we'll try to give you a royal welcome. And now that you've met the surviving members of my crew, I would like to present my daughter, Arlene.
Welcome to our colony, gentlemen.
No grass skirt, but she'll do.
What did you say, Cadet Manning?
Nothing, sir. I just said I was glad to meet your daughter.
Why, thank you, Cadet, and I'm sorry about the skirts. Had I known you were coming, I'd have made the necessary arrangements.
Oh, look, I didn't mean it. Well, you weren't supposed to hear what I said.
Uh-oh, Roger's done it again.
Don't mind Cadet Manning, Miss Arlene. He means well.
Of course I don't mind. After all, when a rescue expedition comes after all these years, we're very grateful to the men in it.
Ah, yes, quite so, quite so. Though I must confess, Captain, I'm a little surprised they waited so long to send you.
Why, sir, a relief expedition was sent out almost immediately. Didn't it ever turn up?
Not to our knowledge, Corbett.
All told, sir, there were 3 others before us.
3 others. Think of that, Arlene. And all lost before they reached here.
Captain Yates, I've been wanting to ask you, why didn't you try to radio for help?
Oh, I only wish we could have, but our communications man was killed when we crash-landed and our electronic equipment damaged beyond repair.
From the looks of that wreck, it's a miracle any of you survived.
Oh, purely a matter of luck, Captain. Tell me, have you been able to maintain audio contact with the advanced base?
No. Since that Nova explosion occurred in space, we've been cut off completely.
You mean communication is impossible for the time being?
Well, there's been a radiation barrier, but as soon as we make repairs, we'll try to raise the base again.
Your audio transmitter was damaged?
By that tidal wave. Our ship suffered some minor damage, too.
Ah, it's a terrible thing, those tidal waves. Terrible. One of Delport's most unpleasant characteristics.
Captain Yates, you may be able to help us.
Anything I can, Corbett, of course, certainly.
Well, were there any transmitter parts left in the wreck of your ship? If I could salvage what I need instead of having to rebuild...
You're welcome to anything you can find, Cadet. Why not investigate the wreck on the way back to your own ship?
Well, thanks, Captain. We'll do that.
And then, as soon as you've made the repairs, return here. We'd like to have a little feast and celebration, a small collation.
Sounds great, Captain Yates. As soon as we get the good news through to advanced base.
Back home, they'll be mighty glad to know we found you, sir.
Of course. You don't know how true that is, Cadet. How very true indeed.
any good pipes in this mess, Tom?
Yes, look at this.
What is it?
Looks like a simple check valve to me.
Hey, it's a check valve, all right, but not a simple one.
What do you mean?
See for yourself, sir. This is the new improved type that was put into production last fall.
Are you certain of that?
I'm positive, sir. The very first batch of these was installed on the Sirius.
So the ship that made the 4th expedition?
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute, Junior. Are you trying to tell us this wrecked ship is the Sirius?
You're jet happy. This is Yates' ship.
It can't be, Tom. Yates has old type valves. These new babies haven't been developed yet.
Yeah, but why should Yates lie to us? He said none of the rescue expeditions ever arrived here.
Just the same.
Well, I still say that we didn't...
Boys, 1 minute.
Sorry, sir.
I still don't see what this is all about, but it's clear that Yates has lied to us.
It certainly is.
Now, he may have some perfectly good reason, but until we find out what that reason is, we've got to proceed on the basis that this expedition, and every one of us personally, is in deadly danger.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spacemen, your official Space Cadet goggles are now ready. Send for them right away. Now, these space goggles are the very same as the goggles issued to all Space Cadets at Space Academy. They're made of a special plastic for clear visibility under all space conditions. Now, don't confuse these goggles with ordinary goggles. You know, the kind with a lens over each eye. Space goggles are made of one sweeping curved piece of colored plastic, like a giant bubble that fits right over both eyes. It even fits over eyeglasses, too. Now, this advanced design is now being used by automobile racers, motorcycle riders, and other racing men. Well, now, you join these men with your own space goggles. It's very important, though, that you send for your space goggles right away. Now, Supply Headquarters at Space Academy wants all spacemen to get their space goggles as soon as possible. So follow these official instructions. To get your space goggles, send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address. Repeat, 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Don't wait, spacemen. Send for your space goggles today.
The crew of the Polaris has found foolproof evidence that Captain Yates lied to them regarding the fate of the previous rescue missions to the planet Delport, and now they realize they stand in deadly danger. They would be even more convinced of this grim fact were they able to eavesdrop on a conversation taking place at the nearby village between Captain Yates and his beautiful daughter, Arlene.
Perhaps if we ask them, Father, just ask them to join our colony here and forget about the universe outside.
I tell you it would be futile, Arlene. Just as it's been futile with most of those other stupid, stubborn solar guardsmen.
But 3 of them are just cadets.
No, they'll follow strong. You know that.
I'm not so sure. The way one of them looked at me, he might be persuaded.
I'm sure of that, my child, given time. But we have no time. They must be prevented from notifying their base that they found us.
Of course, but... Oh, please, no more killing.
Arlene, not that word. You know how I detest the very thought.
You may detest it, but you'd still do it.
Only if I must. But you do appreciate, dear child. There's no turning back.
Are you sure it wouldn't be better to just give up, Father? Admit everything. Show how this strange planet...
Now, don't get panicky. I handled those other rescue expeditions, and I'll handle this one. Hear me, I will.
They'll just keep sending ships, Father, and sooner or later...
Oh, I think not. After 5 lost ships, public opinion will be aroused, Arlene. There'll be much opposition to a 6th futile try. And the authorities will bow to public clamor.
I hope you're right, Father. I know how you feel about this place.
Do you really, my child? When I set eyes on this valley, after 50 years as a spaceman, I knew I'd found paradise at last. That's why we must not let anyone rob us of it, dear child. Not anyone. No one at all.
All right, Father. What about the Polaris transmitter? If they have a chance to repair...
Oh, yes. That must be prevented. The lengths I've gone to protect this place, that might be misunderstood. I might be called a murderer, put on trial, even executed.
Oh, no, I couldn't bear that.
Help me, child, help me.
You know I'll do anything. Provided you promise you'll give the Polaris crew a chance to make their own choice.
Very well. I will. Now, go and divert their attention while I do my work on the Polaris.
How much time will you need?
15 minutes, only 15 minutes. And then I guarantee that no one in all the universe will ever hear from them again.
I'm glad I found you.
Maureen, what are you doing here?
I got through the jungle to warn you. I delayed them as long as I could, but they're on their way here.
All right. I've already wired up the rocket mechanism, and I'll be through here in a minute.
What about the communicator?
It's all set. I smashed the power tube completely, my child.
Suppose they have a spare.
They did? That's here in my pocket.
Father, when they discover they can't repair the radio, won't they decide to blast off?
Oh, I've taken care of that. The Polaris isn't going anywhere. If they try to raise ship, they'll be in for a surprise. Such a surprise.
You wouldn't kill them. Oh, you promised.
Pauline. Look out the port. They're coming. Quick, through the emergency escape hatch. There's not a moment to lose.
How's it coming, Corbett?
All right, sir. These parts fit perfectly. I'll just check the circuit.
And then we talk with civilization again.
You said it, Astro.
Hey, what in the universe?
Oh, what's the trouble?
This power tube is smashed.
Hey, it must have happened in the tidal wave.
No, I checked the tubes when we took damage inventory.
Well, we've got a spare, haven't we?
Yes, sir, in the parts locker.
I'll get it, Tom. Suffer and sucker.
Now what?
That spare's gone.
Impossible.
Are you
sure, Astro?
Positive.
Well, I don't get it.
How in blazes could you be so stupid?
We could jury-rig anything except the tube. There's no way to fix that.
No way except... Hey, wait a minute. I've got an idea.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
All we do, sir, is blast off and get up above atmosphere. Space is a more perfect vacuum than you can find in the best tubes.
Tom, you're right.
Once in space, I'll get out on the hull and rig up a metal cover for the tube, which should give us a perfectly good vacuum tube.
Sounds good. Will it work, Captain
It
Stone?
ought to. Theoretically, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, then let's try it, sir.
Right. All hands to your stations. Prepare to raise ship in 5 minutes. Energize the cooling pumps.
Pumps in operation, sir.
Feed reactant.
Reactant, feeding at D9 rate, sir.
Switch in takeoff gyros.
Gyros on, sir.
Good. Blast off minus 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
Great galaxy, what was that?
Sir, that explosion came from below.
Astro. Come in, Astro.
He doesn't answer, sir.
No wonder. That blast was big enough to blow the power deck and anyone on it into space dust.
I'm all right now, sir. Just shaken up a little.
What happened down here, Astro?
I don't know, sir. I threw the switch for the rocket firing mechanism. There was a blinding flash of light and then the explosion.
And there's only one possible explanation for all this, and that's sabotage.
Captain Yates, sir?
Yates or one of his men. A deliberate attempt to keep us from blasting off.
I can't believe it.
Boys, it's time we called a council of war. We're in desperate straits now, and the odds are against us. They are enormous.
You're so right, gentlemen.
Jumping jets. It's Yates.
Don't move, any of you. Blasters are very efficient. Although I'd be very reluctant to use it, I will if I must. Truly, I will.
He's back toward the emergency hatch, Roger.
Okay.
That would be most unwise, Manning. You'd only meet some of my men on the other side. Your ship is surrounded. You have no choice but to surrender.
And what do you plan to do to us, Captain Yates?
Well, that's entirely up to you, sir. To be perfectly frank, though, I'm very pessimistic. Very.
What about, Captain?
Why, that you'll be any more intelligent in your choice than so many of your Solar Guard friends. Stupid fellows, really stupid.
And what is our choice, Yates?
So simple, really simple. You acknowledge me as your leader. You live in this paradise as my faithful followers. And give up all outside ties.
Suppose we refuse.
Then you must suffer the consequences. And I do mean suffer, young man. Indeed I do.
Well, I'll say right now.
Not too hasty. You'll have time to ponder all this.
You must be insane. You can't just set up a separate kingdom and keep out the whole universe.
To date, we've managed quite well, Captain. True, we've had to destroy some ignorant people who couldn't appreciate our kind offer, but then the price of peace is always high.
My crew and I were sent here under orders, Yates, and we'll carry them out, or die in the attempt.
As you wish, Captain. You'll find this valley a very pleasant place to die.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, send for your official Space Cadet goggles right away. These goggles, part of every Space Cadet's equipment, are so useful, well, you want to carry them and wear them every day. You know, Astro says space goggles, well, they're just about the most important things a spaceman can have. Right, Astro?
You bet, Spaceman. When I'm working down on the power deck of the Polaris, there's a lot of radiation glare around. Wearing space goggles protects my eyes. And you know, these aren't regular goggles. They're advanced design goggles for use out in space. One sweeping, curved piece of clear, colored plastic. Like the observation blister in a jet boat, or a giant bubble that fits right over both eyes. So send for your space goggles right away. Space Academy Supply Headquarters has them all ready and waiting for you. And if you're smart, you'll send for an extra pair, too, so you'll have them for emergencies.
Good idea, Astro. And now, spaceman, write this down. Here's how to get your official Space Cadet goggles. Send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address. I'll repeat that. 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Hop to it, spaceman. Send for your space goggles today.
The crew of the Polaris has been imprisoned in a cave cut into a hillside near Yates Village. Working in complete darkness, the cadets have examined it carefully, going over it inch by inch with their fingertips. But they have found nothing to give them any hope of escape. Straining their eyes in the pitch-black gloom, they wait and wonder what is to happen next.
Why didn't Yates kill us? Why should he bring us here?
I overheard him tell his men something, Captain. Seems he promised his daughter to give us every chance to change our minds.
How long does that mean? Until we rot? Unless we can find a way out. Bad chance of that. They've got a magnetite door and an energy lock on the mouth of this cave. Plus a man on guard outside.
If we only had a little light.
Quiet, everyone. Listen.
What in the universe is that?
The sound's coming from beyond the left wall, sir.
I can hear it a lot plainer now with my ear against the wall. Viola cosmic. Somebody's digging in there.
Captain Strong, could it be another prisoner?
It's hard to say, Manning. This hill is riddled with limestone caves. I noticed that when they brought us here.
Then it could be another prisoner.
Let's start digging toward him from this side.
With what?
With anything, Manning, including your hands. Get busy.
Almost ready to break through, sir.
All right, Tom. You keep on digging. We'll stand on either side and be ready for anything.
There goes the last of it.
What's it now?
Hello. We've made contact.
Who's there? Who's on the other side?
Prisoners. Who are you?
Prisoner, too.
Is that hole large enough for him to come through?
I think so, sir.
Give me your hand, and I can make it all right.
Here. Hold on. That's fine. Your shoulders are through. Easy now.
Thanks. Oh, what it means to hear another voice.
Who are you, sir? I'm Captain Strong of the Solar Guard.
Strong? You too, eh? I'm Larkin, captain of the Sirius.
So this is what happened to you, sir. We found the wreckage of your ship.
Yates and his men wrecked it after we landed. They killed most of my crew, but Yates thought he could win me over to join his colony and imprisoned me here. I couldn't have stood another day alone in there.
Captain Larkin, how often do the guards bring food?
Once a day.
How many of them?
Just one man. But he's always armed with a blaster, and he makes me back away from him, to the end of the cave. Why?
Would you be willing to take a risk, sir? Along with us, I mean.
Would I? Son to a man who's been buried alive for as long as I have, anything's worth a try.
Show yourself.
Yates, what are you...
I have your dinner. I brought it personally.
Well, what do I owe the...
You know the rules, Larkin. Move back. Back into the light where I can see you.
All right.
That's it. Move well back. Now, Larkin, I'm sorry it's not your dinner I'm bringing you, but your death.
Grab him! Got him, sir!
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Let me go. This is impossible.
Okay, I've got his artillery. Pin his arms and we've got it.
Don't worry, he can't make a move.
You cry out, Yates, and I'll blast you into space dust. Is that perfectly clear?
You have me. Yes, alas, I do.
Corbett, that was a mighty clever idea of yours for all of us to gather here in my cell.
It certainly was. And to have the boss wander in instead of the mess sergeant was really a break for us.
Corbett has all the luck.
Oh, I don't know, Roger. This turns out pretty well for you, too.
How do you figure, Junior?
Why, Roger, you were so unhappy at the idea of leaving Arlene, remember?
Sure, but I don't see...
Tom's right, Roger. Now she and her father will both be going back to Earth with us. And you can visit them both every day in jail.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom, Corbett, and the Space Cadets on Tuesday, when Tom and Roger Manning escort the first interplanetary circus on a trip to Venus and find that deadly peril lurks beneath the big top tent of the greatest show in the universe. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Al Markham, Edward Bryce, Ian Martin, and Susan Douglas. Today's program was written by Gilbert Braun, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because... Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, you are swimming for your life in the dangerous waters off the Florida Gulf Coast, about to be smashed by a launch carrying a vicious criminal who must kill you or die himself. And on shore, 500 yards away, the police are waiting to arrest you for murder. And there can be no escape.
Buddy, this is the end of the line.
Thanks for the ride.
Don't mention it. Compliments of Miami Police. Now, you see that sign?
Yeah, I see it.
Read it.
What's the matter? Don't they teach you cops to read?
I said read it.
Miami, city limits.
Good. See that you stay on the other side of that sign. We don't take kindly to bums down here.
I tell you, I'm not a bum. I came down here to take a job.
Sure.
Sure, you guys always have jobs. That's why you come down and sleep in our city parks as soon as it gets cold up north. Well, now get going. And keep going. And don't come back.
Don't come back, he says. Fat chance. One night on the streets and you're a vagrant. They give you a cot in the city jail and some coffee and spud nuts in the morning and escort you out of town. Every step I took was away from that place, and that was all right, too. They could have their sunshine and their orange juice. All I wanted was a ride north. Anywhere north. But one after another cars passed me up until my thumb got tired. I walked almost all the way to Fort Lauderdale. I got a ride into Pompano, and I hooked it again. It was getting hot. Took off my jacket and carried it. It was near Delray Beach that the big new Nash sedan swooped down around the curve from the opposite direction. And suddenly, it blew a tire. The car swerved, careened across the white line, and was coming straight at me. I jumped out of the way and ran, my heart pounding like crazy. And then the car stopped miraculously, right side up. There was some driving. I walked back to it. There was a red-headed girl in the driver's seat and a man beside her. The man's face was cut.
Darling, you're bleeding. You're parted.
It's nothing. I just hit the windshield.
Can I help?
Yes. You can change the tire. If you do it fast, there's $5 in it for you.
You all right?
It's just a cut. It's nothing. Look, we're in an awful hurry.
Oh, sure. Where do you keep the tools?
Oh, in the back. Here's the key. I'm sorry I scared you. I couldn't help it. The car got out of control.
You sure know how to drive.
Oh, look at that tire. It's a mess. Will it take long to change it?
No, not very.
Oh, it's certainly lucky for us that you were right here to help us. Where are you going?
Well, I was trying to hitchhike. The only ride I got was on the back of a fish truck.
Where are you hiking to?
Any place but Miami.
What's wrong with Miami?
Oh, nothing. It's a great town. But the cops don't like you if you don't have a job.
I should think a good-looking man like you could get a job. Seems to me that... I'm coming.
Good-looking man like me. It's funny she should say a thing like that. And that was what I was thinking about her. Oh, she was beautiful. She was the most alive person I'd ever seen. And yet, she was controlled like a member. As I worked on the car, putting on the spare that cost more than the suit I had on my back, I got to wishing that I could afford a car like that, and a girl like that. And I wondered about the guy it all belonged to. He was used to being waited on, you could see that. He sat in the front seat, and the girl sat close to him. Every now and then she'd look back at me and smile. Couldn't hear what they were talking about, and I was glad. Because I suddenly didn't want to know what he said to her. A jerk, that's me, a daydreaming jerk.
How are you coming?
Oh, I'm through.
What's your name?
It's Joe Mazurka.
Would you like to go to Miami with us, Joe?
Oh, I can't go to Miami, not without a job.
That's what I mean. You want a job, don't you?
Well, fixing tires?
No. I've been talking to Mr. Ress. If you really want a job, he has one for you.
Are you kidding? He has a job for me in Miami?
Would you like that?
Oh, boy, would I.
Then put the tools away. Come on, let's go.
Now, wait a minute. There's something I want you to know. I had a job. I came down here to take the job as swimming instructor at the Bay Club, but I was a day late and the job was gone.
Oh, so that's how you got those shoulders. Swimming.
Oh. Well, I just wanted you to know that I'm not a bum.
Of course you're not a bum, Joe. Whatever made you think I thought you were?
And, we haven't got all day.
Come on, he's getting impatient.
Yeah, but the job, what kind of a job is it?
Mr. Ress will tell you about it on the way in.
But
You want to go to Miami with us, don't you?
Yeah, I sure do.
Then come on, let's go.
It's this way. I'm a writer.
Oh, sure, Ress. William Ress. You're the guy who wrote Break It Open.
Did you read it?
No. I've been on the go, and I don't have much chance.
But you've heard of me.
Oh, everybody that read English has heard of you. Your name's in every bookstore window.
Yes, my name, but not my face.
And that's the job.
I don't understand.
Well, you see, if they find out that Bill, Mr. Ress, is in Miami, they'll hound him to death. That's the way it is when a writer is successful. The public thinks they own him. They expect him to be clever at cocktail parties, and he's invited everywhere. He hasn't
what's wrong with it?
Well, nothing, but it doesn't leave him any time to write.
Hender's trying to tell you that I hate people. All this social claptrap. I want to be left alone so I can work.
I still don't see how I fit in.
Well, you'll be me. That's how you'll fit in. You'll be Bill Rest.
I'll be you?
All right. Let's put it this way. You'll be my alter ego. There'll be two of me. You'll handle the social end while I lock myself in someplace and write.
Yeah, but I don't look like you, not a bit.
What's the difference? Nobody knows me down here.
Yeah, but...
Look, do you want the job or don't you?
I don't know. It's a pretty crazy job.
Pays $100 a week in expenses.
$100 a week?
It wouldn't be hard, Joe. Not with me helping you.
Yeah, that's right. And that could help you.
I could see you from time to time, and, well, I could tell you what to say, how to act.
You would?
You'll take it, won't you, Joe?
It's a crazy job, all right, but I'm a crazy guy. Sure. I'll take it. They coached me all the way into Miami. I memorized facts about him. Where he went to college, what he ate for breakfast, how he felt politically. But there was one thing he didn't tell me, and it was the one thing I couldn't ask. What was his relationship with the girl? That's what I wanted to know more than anything else. We passed the city limits sign, went on into Miami on Biscayne Boulevard. Ender pulled the car up near a cab stand.
Now, you're sure you got it all straight?
I think so.
All right. Ender, give him some money.
Oh, yes. Here, Joe.
Thank you. $500?
Yes. I want you to buy some good clothes and a couple of good traveling bags. You're a successful writer, remember? You've got to look good.
And check in at a good hotel.
The Ronnie Plaza.
Yes, that'll be fine. Ronnie Plaza.
Aren't you coming with me?
Oh, you'll want to get settled first, Joe. Get yourself a haircut and a manicure. I'll see you tonight.
But what if I should have to get in touch with you before then?
Why? Why would you want to get in touch with her?
Oh, well, you know. Ask some questions about you in case something comes up all of a sudden.
All right. If you need me sooner, you can call me. 99730. Give me your pen, Bill.
But don't bother us unless you have to.
No, I won't.
And, Joe.
Yeah.
You'd better pick up a copy of Mr. Ress's book. It might be rather embarrassing if you didn't know what it was all about.
They drove off, and they left me standing there with my head full of facts on the life and times of Bill Ress, but not one fact about her. I didn't even know what her last name was. Well, there'd be time for that. I did like they told me. I bought some clothes and a suitcase. I got a haircut and a manicure, and I bought the book. Funny. A few hours before, I'd been a vagrant. No job and no money. Now I was set up in the swankiest hotel in Miami. Come in.
Mr. Rez?
Oh, yes.
I'm George Cole. I'm the public relations man for the hotel. This is Walters, our photographer.
Glad to meet you, Mr. Rez. How are you? Well, come on in.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're certainly excited having you here at the Roney Plaza.
Well, thank you.
We were frankly pretty surprised when you checked in.
Is that so?
We knew you were in Miami. You know how those things get around. Miami's really just a small town. But you have the reputation for being such a recluse.
Well, you know how it is.
I wonder if you'd let us release a little publicity on you.
Well,
we'd like to take some pictures.
Well, all right, sure. Go right ahead. Take all you want. Now, let's see. How about over here by the window? This be all right?
Oh, yeah, that's swell. I'll hold it a minute, will you?
Oh, it's certainly nice of you to be so cooperative.
I'm glad to.
Ah, got it. Now then, over this way, please.
Walters, I think it would be good to get one of him autographing his book. I took the liberty, Mr. Ress, of bringing up a few copies.
Oh,
would you autograph them for some of our guests?
Yeah, all right. Have you got a pen?
Oh, certainly. Here.
There, now, that's just fine. Hold it.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Would you autograph this one to Herman and Betty?
To Herman and Betty?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, shall I get it for you?
Oh, no, thanks. Yeah?
Are you Bill Ress?
That's all right.
I'm Arnold Springman.
Well, what can I do for you?
Do for me? That's funny.
I beg your pardon?
So you don't even remember my name. Springman. Arnold Springman. Think hard.
What do you want?
You ruined my life, you destroyed my future, and now you don't even remember my name. It's all it meant to you, isn't it? Sensationalism. Muckraking. What do you care if you break a man so long as your book sells?
Ah, now look, you've got the wrong idea.
I guess we'd better be going, Mr. S. Come on along, Walter.
No, you wait. I want witnesses. I want the world to know that I'm the one who got rid of Bill Ress.
Now, wait a minute.
I'm going to kill you.
Kill? Oh, no.
Put that gun away.
Oh, don't shoot, don't. Oh, Mr. Ress, are you all right?
Oh, yes, I'm all right.
Oh, my. It took a lot of courage wrenching that gun away from him like that.
You ruined my life.
Can you get the house detective and get this guy out of here?
Oh, yes, sir.
And you get out, too.
Oh, yes.
Don't send anybody up to my room again. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Nobody.
No, sir. Oh, come along, you.
Operator.
This is the operator.
This is Bill Ress in 416. Get me, let me see, 99730.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ress. The line is busy.
Call me back when you get it, please. As I waited for the operator to get hand on the line, I leafed through Bill Ress's book. The name Arnold Springman hadn't meant anything to me, but on page 5 it began to mean a lot. He was a small-time political campaign manager, crooked as a broken finger, and Ress's book had exposed him. That's what the book was, an expose of dozens of politicians, large and small, and every one of them had plenty of reason to get rid of Bill Ress. Dozens of potential killers. I realized the spot I was in. I was the clay pigeon for a political muckraker. Hello.
I have 99730 for you now.
Oh, thank you.
Hello?
That you, Ress?
Oh? This is Louis.
Well, is Henda there?
You got the wrong number. This is Louis' pool room.
Operator.
Yes, sir?
That was the wrong number. Dial it again, please. 99730.
Right away, sir.
Good, I'll hold the phone.
Louis' pool room. Louis talking.
Is this 99730?
Oh, it's you again. Yeah, this is 99730.
Is Bill Ress there?
Never heard of him.
Are you sure there isn't a girl there by the name of Henda? Tall, slender, red hair?
Look, buddy, the dames have invaded the bowling alleys, but the pool rooms they ain't touched yet. And for that, I'm thankful.
But she gave me this number.
Buddy, for my dough, she gave you the runaround.
I couldn't believe it. But why not? If I was sucker enough to hope I had a chance with her, I deserved the mess I was in. Well, no law said that I had to stay in it. Not even for $100 a week would I stand still and let Bill Ress's enemies take pot shots at me. I grabbed my hat, my new $15 hat, and I walked out of the room, took the stairs to the lobby, and went out the side door of the hotel. It was at the corner I heard the newsboy.
Bill Ress dead.
Dead?
Paper missed the latest edition just hit the street all about the Ress murder.
Yes.
Gee, y'all thank you. Extra, read all about it. Also killed Bill Ress.
Bill Ress dead.
In just a moment, we will return you to the second act of Escape. But first, suppose Junior has cut the telephone wire with your pet jackknife or kitchen shears. That's no reason for not listening to Sing It Again. Of course, if your phone is okay and Dan Seymour does put in one of the big calls to you, there's the chance that you'll win $51,000 in prizes and cash. But Sing It Again is more than prizes. It's a solid hour of tuneful riddle songs and hit music, highly entertaining in themselves, with Alan Dale, Bob Howard, and Eugenie Baird. And it's heard on most of these same CBS stations. So be listening this Saturday, won't you? And now for the second act of Escape.
I stood there holding the newspaper that said the man I was impersonating had been murdered. I was on the spot and I knew I had to do something fast. But suddenly it was done for me.
Joe! Joe!
Huh?
Over here, Joe.
Henda.
Hurry up, get in. I'm blocking traffic.
I tried to get you. That number you gave me, 99730, that's a pool room.
99730. Oh, Joe, no, it's 99703.
Oh. Well, anyway, he's dead. The newsboy's yelling that he's been murdered.
Oh, I didn't dream it'd work out like this.
Who killed him?
I don't know. A lot of people hated me.
I know that. One of them took a shot at me.
At you? Did you tell anyone you were Bill Rest?
Did I tell him? Of course I told them. I signed the register. I autographed some books. They took my picture.
Oh, that's terrible.
But you told me to.
I know.
Well, what does it mean? I'm all mixed up.
Well, they'll think you did it. You can't go back to the hotel.
Where are we going?
Matcumbe. They won't find you there.
Matcumbe? What is that?
It's an island, one of the keys.
Well, wouldn't it be better if I went to the police? I haven't done anything wrong.
You impersonated another man. You signed his name. And now he's dead, murdered. How will that look for you?
Yeah, but that was my job. You were there. You heard him hire me. You can tell them that... Well, can't you?
No, Joe. That's just the trouble. I can't tell them anything.
I don't get it. Why not?
Bill was married. Oh, he was going to get a divorce, but he was still technically married.
He was going to marry you?
Yes. But nobody knew about me. I never met any of his friends. Nobody ever saw us together. As far as the world is concerned, I don't even know Bill Rest. You see, Joe, I wouldn't be a very good alibi for you. I've got to keep out of this mess, too.
I see. I was still mixed up as we drove south on the overseas highway across the twisted chain of islands that is the Florida Keys. The air was fresh and sharp off the sea. The sun was just setting. Riding there beside this gorgeous girl, I couldn't honestly say that I was sorry Rest was dead. In a cockeyed sort of way, I was glad. It was at an isolated spot on one of the islands that she pulled off the highway into a deserted lane that ended in a dock. There was a corrugated sheet metal shack at the end of the lane. She pulled the car into a shed.
This is Lower Matcumbe.
Doesn't look like much.
And there's the yacht out there.
Yacht?
Oh, didn't I tell you? We're going out in the yacht.
But you said we were going to stay at Matcumbe.
This is still Florida, all the way down to Key West. You'll be safer on the yacht. It belongs to a friend of mine, Ernie Castillo. He'll take good care of us.
Yeah, but where is it going?
Oh, it isn't going anywhere. Ernie gets seasick, so he just keeps it at anchor all season.
Oh. And how are we going to get out to it?
That's strange. The speedboat was supposed to be waiting here for me. Well, come on, let's go into the saloon. I'll phone them.
The sheet metal shack was an honest-to-goodness saloon. Sawdust on the floor, pictures of boxers over the mirror-chipped beer mugs. The only actual modern note was the radio, and that was an old Atwater Kent. The saloon was presided over by a talkative Cuban.
Cerveza? You want another glass, maybe?
No, thank you. I'm just waiting for the lady to make a phone call.
Then better you have cerveza. When a lady goes into a phone booth, goodbye, you wait. I like radio music. I like fish fishing. What do you like?
Well,
Amberjack, they call me. Amberjack is good guy, it's good fish. But bonefish I like best.
News bulletin. In connection with the murder of Bill Rest, the police...
Bonefish is a tough baby to crack.
...built young man of about 26 or 28 who has been posing publicly as the author. He was last seen at the Romney Plaza Hotel, where he was wearing a gray flannel suit and a dark red tie. He is about 6 feet tall, muscular, with light wavy hair and dark eyes. The police are watching every avenue of escape out of Florida. If you have any information leading to his whereabouts, please notify your local police.
The police all the time look for somebody. Gray suit, dark tie. Could be anybody. Could be you.
Yeah.
I like to be police. All the time ride the motorcycle, go fast like anything.
Joe.
Yeah, I'll be seeing that.
Come again, young fellas. Always got plenty of surveys.
Joe, come on, the motorboat's here.
Henda, I'm going to go to the police.
Joe, you can't do that.
Why, Henda, why? Did you kill him?
Did I? Of course I didn't. Why do you ask that?
Well, then you've got to come with me. You've got to make him believe me.
But I can't. Oh, here comes the man Ernie sent in with the speedboat. Come on.
Oh, no, Henda, you've got to help me.
You ready to go, Henda?
Yes, Chuck, we're ready.
No, we're not. Go on back to the boat.
I don't take orders from you.
Oh, get lost.
Don't be stubborn, Joe. He came to get us, and we're going with him.
Well, maybe you are, but I'm going back to Miami.
Oh, no, you're not.
What?
Show him what I mean, Chuck.
Sure, glad to.
Feel better, Joe?
Oh.
Would you like me to get you a drink?
No.
Come on, relax. Don't get up so fast. It'll make you dizzy.
You can quit being charming. You made your point. We're on the yacht.
Now, isn't this better than going to the police? It's so quiet out here. So peaceful.
So you killed him.
No, I killed him.
What?
I said I killed him.
Oh, I must be losing my mind. You're supposed to be dead, Res.
Not Res. My name is Castillo, Ernie Castillo.
Castillo? But you're the guy that hired me to double for Res.
That's right. Maybe I better straighten you out. I killed Bill Rest this morning at Delray Beach. Reason? He was writing a new book exposing the narcotics syndicate. Matter of fact, it was to be my biography.
Delray Beach, of course. That's where the newsboy said he was killed. That's where you were coming from when you picked me up this morning.
Right again. I killed Rest and I disposed of his longhand notes on the new book.
Why'd you drag me into it? Why'd you bring me here?
Very simple. To give the police a definite suspect. Ress's impersonator, you. And it was to pick you up later tonight. But they found Ress's body sooner than we counted on. She just made it in the nick of time, don't you think?
So I was your red herring, huh?
We got the idea while you were changing the tire. It worked fine.
Oh, sure, it worked fine. Why'd you have to pick on me? Who is he anyway? A joker on the road, a guy without a job, a vag, huh?
You're getting emotional, Joe.
You think you can hold me? You're crazy.
Are we? By now, some smart newspaper man has his byline on a story explaining why you did it.
Oh? Suppose you tell me why I did it.
Maybe you've been impersonating Ress for a long time. He caught up with you and you killed him.
That won't stand up. What about that book of his? It's full of names of people who'd be happy to see him dead.
That's true, but you've run away, Joe. That's the most damaging fact of all. You've run away and the police will keep looking for you.
And they won't find you.
There had been just the three of us on deck, and now I was conscious of others. 2 or 3 men, including the one who had slugged me. They were securing the motor launch to the deck. Even as they worked, I could feel them concentrating on me. It was like waiting for someone to give a signal. What's that? What's that noise?
The anchor.
The anchor? We're sailing?
Right out to sea. Your last voyage, Joe. Way, way out to sea.
The engine started up and the yacht began to move, nosing into the Atlantic. I looked back at Matcumbe Key, at the overseas highway silhouetted against the dusky sky, a little fishing boat innocently anchored near the reefs, only a couple of 100 yards away. That's all they were, a couple of 100 yards. There was one wild, crazy chance, and I took it.
It's diving overboard!
There was one thing I knew how to do. It's swim. I could just get to the reefs before they could get that boat in the water and come after me. I was less than 50 yards off the reefs now. 50 yards from the little fishing boat. I looked back just as that motor launch hit the water. And Ress was in it. And he came right at me. He was going to cut me in two. I swam faster. A few more strokes, I'd be at the fishing boat. I could already see the guy in it.
Hey, look out, that motorboat! You idiot, get away from me!
I grabbed a hold of the fishing boat's gunwale just as the launch swerved to avoid collision.
You crazy jerk, you want to kill somebody? Hey, look at that, he's out of control. He's heading for the rocks. Crazy nut, he's cracked up.
What a mess.
Give me a hand up, will you? Pull me in the boat.
Hey, you know that guy almost killed you.
Yeah.
You all right?
Oh, I'm great. Just get me to the police.
Here he is, Lieutenant. The mysterious Mr. X.
Look, I tell you, I didn't do it. I didn't kill anybody. I was hired by Ress. I mean Castillo. Castillo and that girl. They picked me up on the highway. They were both in it.
Relax. Take it easy.
What?
Castillo is dead, and the Coast Guard picked up the girl.
Oh, did she tell you?
Sure. She talked. They always talk.
Oh, I was afraid you wouldn't believe me.
Well, when they booked you, we thought you could have done it. That crazy cock and bull story you told about working for him. But when we checked the blotter, we knew you couldn't have killed Bill Ress at all.
Oh, you knew?
Well, sure. You know, when are you guys going to learn to come to the police when you get into trouble? We knew all along you couldn't have killed him because the murder was committed between 6 and 8 a.m. You were right here in the Miami jail until after 8:30.
Oh, then I'm free?
Why, sure. Like a bird.
Thanks.
Regan?
Yes, sir?
Okay. He's all yours.
What do you mean?
Come on, buddy. Let's go.
Oh, no, hey, wait a minute.
Come on, I said. Okay, buddy. See that sign?
Yes, I see the sign. It says Miami City Limits.
That's right. Now...
Oh, wait a minute. I know. You want me to stay on the other side of that sign. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Now get going. Keep going. And don't come back, yeah? Because the next time you're liable to get yourself in some real trouble.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson. Tonight we have presented Danger at Matcumbe by John and Gwen Bagney. Featured in the cast were Frank Lovejoy as Joe, Marie Windsor as Henda, and Ted DeCourcy as Ress. Also heard were Rick Vallon, Robert Clark, Harry Bartell, Dee Tatum, Jerry Hausner, and Larry Dompkin. Special music was composed and conducted by Del Castillo. Next week...
You are the prisoner of Mr. 3 from the land of 1. You're being driven like an animal toward the giant spaceship from which you know there can be no escape.
Next week, we escape to the forbidding valley of the Infernal River high in the Peruvian Andes. A valley from which no traveler has ever returned, as T.S. Scribbling tells it in his science fiction classic, Green Splotches. Goodbye, then, until the same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. Whether your hair is long or whether it's short, musically speaking, that is, you'll get a kick out of that hour of music with Vaughn Monroe and Gene Autry, heard on most of these same CBS stations every Saturday night. Vaughn is here with the 5 top tunes of the week as chosen by Variety magazine, and Gene Autry comes riding with the best in Western music and song. CBS cordially invites you to join Vaughn Monroe and Gene Autry every Saturday night. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The American Broadcasting Company Radio Network presents Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are aboard the Terra 5, rushing toward the planet Saturn. Suddenly, another ship fires at them.
It was close, Commander. He's getting range with those torpedoes.
We'll try evasive action.
Why don't we give this our friends his own medicine? Fire a few blasts with our space cannon.
We can't do. We've got to think about those people in Saturn City. If we destroy Drocomp, we destroy the only person who can cure that epidemic.
Take a rocket. We can't fight back. So all Drocomp has to do is keep firing until he hits us.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting story, The Weed of Despair. Better schools build better communities. All schools should have large, airy classrooms, well-equipped, and even more important, they should have an adequate teaching staff. Many of our schools fail to reach these standards. 3 out of every 5 classrooms in the nation are overcrowded, and there's a shortage of 72,000 elementary teachers. The solution is more action by more people in more places. Join and work with local civic groups and school boards who are actively seeking to improve educational conditions. Find out how citizens in other communities are taking action to improve their schools. For such background information and for guidance, simply write to Better Schools, 2 West 45th Street, New York 36, New York. Help our schools keep pace with the birth rate. Now, back to today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Weed of Despair. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are aboard the Terra 5, bound for the planet Saturn to investigate a strange malady that has afflicted Saturn City. Leading doctors of the United Planets are unable to explain the cause of the sickness, which leaves its victims suffering from strange fatigue and anxiety. Many of the city's leaders have been affected by the spreading epidemic, and Buzz fears that immediate action is needed to prevent a serious disaster.
Commander, the doctors can't do anything about the sickness. What are we supposed to do?
Our job is to keep the people of Saturn City from hurting themselves and others.
Well, I've read in the medical reports, too. Nobody gets violent. It's the opposite in fact. They just sit around and brood and worry.
Exactly. Every motion seems a tremendous effort for them. Useless effort. As the sickness progresses, they become afraid to take any sort of action for fear it might be the wrong thing to do.
Then it's all in their mind.
Possibly. That doesn't make the effect of the sickness any less real.
I still don't see how we can.
We're setting up a temporary camp outside the city in a small atmosphere gap. In case Saturn City has to be quarantined, we can rotate skeleton crews in 2 positions and operate the city by remote control.
We could reach Saturn in about 2 hours. So we're just over the orbit of the 6th moon, Titan.
Titan, the 6th moon of Saturn, is the only satellite in the solar system with a natural atmosphere. Prospectors like Mort Stockler and Reese Haviland, with little money for spacesuits or small atmosphere shells, take advantage of this fact in their search for valuable minerals. A small, powerful surface truck roars over Titan's rough terrain.
Right, kid, right over that hill, Reese. I think you're rocking. Flashes in the sky, flashes over the hill.
I saw him. Green flash.
Yeah, the polka dots, yeah.
No, there wasn't any polka dots. Like I told you, I was looking out the window of our shack when the first flash came out in space.
Meteor.
And then several minutes later, the next one came. That's when it exploded and hit the ground.
If it exploded, it isn't going to do us any good, even if it was solid uranium.
No. Look, you can see it now. That's where it landed, that big scarred place, a quarter of a mile ahead.
I see it. All the black and storm. But it wasn't a meteor. A meteor would have dug a crater.
It's been burned. There's something burned hot. Hey, look out at command. Land on the ground.
Run right over him. That's how I was cut to do what's wrong with it.
Hold him over now.
Can't tell where he's bleeding out. It's been punctured right here in the leg.
Whatever exploded over there, a chunk of it hit the program.
He's alive, all right.
Yeah, help the leg just went into the truck. We better rush him to the shack and buckle him up.
The 2 prospectors speed back to their shack with the injured man. While they're dressing his wounds, the stranger regains consciousness.
You just lie there and don't take it easy. I'll have you packed up for you.
You gentlemen saved my life. I was sure I was finished.
You're going to be all right. Where did you?
I'll be okay. Where?
A couple of miles from where we picked up.
How did you happen to find me?
I saw the price the meteor made. It was a meteor, wasn't it?
No, it was my ship, my private cruiser. Something went wrong with the reactor. I managed to set down and get out before it blew up. Fragment must have caught my leg.
You were lucky at that. By the way, my name is Reese Haviland. My beetle broad friend here is Mort Stocker. We're prospectors, in case you haven't guessed.
I'm very glad to know you, gentlemen. My name is Gelwin. I'm from Venus.
Venus, huh?
Yes, a plant apologized.
What kind of a factory you work for?
I do? I'm afraid I didn't make myself quite clear. I work with growing plants, flowers, seeds.
Well, Mr. Gowan, you won't find any plants on Titan.
I didn't expect that. My landing here was unnatural.
That's it.
You gentlemen probably get around a lot. Maybe you can help me. Would you be good enough to bring me my jacket?
Oh, sure, I can.
I'm searching for a certain type of plant. A weed, to be exact.
Yeah, but you'd know it.
Well, I might. Here's the jacket, Mr. Bell.
Thank you.
Oh, that's too fancy. I ever talked to us quite like these before.
It's a semi-official uniform. Here's what I wanted to show you. These pictures. Did you ever see one of these plants?
there we go. Let me see them now. You mean you're looking for a mangy-looking breed like this? I admit it's not very attractive. But it has interesting medical uses. Think carefully. Have you ever seen it? As you can see, it's soft as a glazed jello. Once a year, it grows a big purple ball of tar to its door. Seeds, you probably call it. No, Mr. Gelder, I have never seen anything like this. You're right. And this is what you're looking for, huh? Oh, you're stranded on tight and out of ship, Mr. Gelder. We'd be glad to notify the Saturn Space Patrol. No. I mean, don't bother. Oh, it's not a trouble. We got his papers on him in this room. The fact is, I'd feel rather foolish asking for a rescue ship. We'll probably be going to Saturn for supplies in a day or so. I'll go in with you. We don't have a ship here on Titan, Mr. Gelder. I see we're prospecting on the cuff, so to speak. Big company advances supplies and equipment. Every 30 days, we send a ship here to drop off more supplies. Then we'll pick up samples of ore. And when we wait till the ship comes, you're welcome. And how long will that be? The last ship was here 3 days ago. Maybe 28 days or next. Don't let the boy. We got plenty of food. And you're welcome to stay with us. You know, you just lie down there and take it easy while I rustle up some food for you. There's something pretty strange in the deep set tonight. A dark smear on the ground. Down there on paper. Yes, I see. And it's perfectly round. A starred area. But there's something that's wrong. What if they were saying? It's question, huh?
Titan Station P19 calling Space Patrol. Emergency. Attention all Space Patrol units.
Manicoria aboard Terra 5 to Titan Station P19. Go ahead.
This is Reed Kaplan. Titan P19. I want to report it. Mandatory.
That's right, Havlin. I'm 11 DUs off Titan. What's the trouble?
My partner and I prospected Sector 7R on Titan. Somebody stole our surface truck. We're stranded.
Can you give me more details, Havlin?
Sure. A couple of hours ago, a spaceship exploded just over the hill from our shack. My partner and I picked up this guy and brought him back. Late was the sent tonight.
You say a spaceship exploded?
Well, it blew out after it crashed. It left a big black smear and nothing else. Anyhow, we picked out the pilot and put him in our bunk and take a nap. The next thing we knew, he was gone. So was our truck.
How long ago did this happen?
Not more than 20 minutes ago. He couldn't have gone very far. But me and my partner are friends.
Well, take it easy, Havlin. We're covering the whole area by viewscope right now.
We have to get that truck back to the It's our bread and butter.
Stand by that spaceophone and keep in touch. Hurry out.
Remember, pick up something on this one.
Maybe the still in front. Put the lower tail tight on. This is the your line. When closer observation proves the moving object to be a surface truck, Buzz lands the Terra 5 near the blackened area. By now, the surface truck is stopped near some large rocks. Buzz is happy to send the landing ladder and advance toward the truck. A man in strange clothing turns from a crevice in the rock and stands with arms folded, waiting. We're space patrollers. We'd like to ask you a few questions. Of course. Where did you get that surface? We got a couple of prospectors. North Stalker and Reed Havlin. I suppose they reported it stolen. Right. Actually, they only borrowed it. I figured I'd get back to the shack before they mix the truck or me. Why are you here? Looking for something? Yes, I am. You see, I had some valuable personal effects aboard my spaceship. I have hoped they were things here by the explosion. So I come back to look for them. Okay? Find what you were looking for? No, I didn't. I do not know. But its place of the hull, the active shield, and the valve. Yet you escaped. Practically without a scratch. I was fortunate. I managed to get clear of the ship before it blew up. What's that? Kelvin, are you sure that you didn't manage to save a portable spaceophone from the ship before it exploded? It's in code, eh? A very strange code. It's the kind of light you picked up. I had the space receiver. What do you mean?
Kelvin, I think you're from another solar system. Another solar system? What makes you think that? Your clothes are one thing, and your spaceship is so totally and mysteriously demolished. And if I get a look at that receiver, I can tell whether it was made here in our solar system away. I am from another system. I don't mean you any harm. In fact, I came here to help you, please. We can settle that discussion with a Vanguard. You regret it? To be sure whether you're telling the truth. You can tell it happy when I put that receiver. Yes, sir. Oh, the signal's cut off. No, whatever you need. Yeah? So just how are you going to stop it? I hate to do this, but it's quite simple. I am sorry. I think you're making it very bad. I'm getting delayed. Quick. Use your radar. Of course you can. This harmless looking belt is radiating a field upon your brain. Commander. We'll return to our exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. One of the great men of our time is Dr. Avak. For the past 40 years, Dr. Schweitzer has dedicated his life to his medical mission in French Equatorial Africa, devoting all his personal income to the support of 700 patients suffering from leprosy, malaria, sleeping sickness, and other dread diseases of the jungle. Dr. Schweitzer has just reached his 80th birthday. As a tribute, many Americans will send him a gift through CARE, because help for Dr. Schweitzer's hospital is one continuing part of CARE's World Health Program. Your contribution will be gratefully received and carefully spent in the service of humanity. Send it to CARE, New York 16, or to any local CARE office. Specify that it is for Dr. Schweitzer's hospital in Africa. Now back to our exciting Space Patrol adventure, Weed of Despair. Buzz and Happy landed on Titan, Saturn's sixth moon, near a strange scarred area where a spaceship disintegrated in an explosion. While questioning Gelvin, the pilot who survived the disaster, Buzz found evidence that the ship is from another solar system. Suddenly, Gelvin stunned the space patrollers with a brain-numbing field that radiated from his belt. Now, Buzz and Happy find themselves in the control compartment of the Terra 5, with Gelvin standing over them.
Now, if your heads are clear, I want you to listen. Understand? We've got our weapons. We can't do anything else. I'm from Toloma, a star system about 80 light years from your solar system. I'm an officer in our Galactic Peace Commission. It's on the order of your space patrol. I can point out a few differences. Perhaps. I'm here to capture an escaped criminal. If you're the law, I'd hate to meet the criminal. I know you're angry. But it was necessary. For the welfare of your own people. So to help people, you put us out cold with that radiation field. You plan to take me to your space patrol headquarters, you said. It will take time, and there's none to spare. Not when I have a lead on Dokov. Who is Dokov? The criminal I'm after. After he fled from Toloma, I trailed him to a cosine system. And then here. I'd intercepted a hyperspace signal from him when my ship developed trouble. I had to land on Titan. I destroyed my own ship so Dokov couldn't spot it.
Well, what does this Dokov do that's so dangerous?
He brings entire planets under his control. How does he work? I want to show you some pictures. Did you ever see a planet like this anywhere in your solar system? Sorry, how about you, Happy?
Yes, I don't think so.
This weed is probably the most dangerous plant in the universe. It looks harmless, but just a few of them can pollute the atmosphere for miles around. You mean it's poison? Not in the ordinary physical sense. Its effect is emotional or psychological. You see this purple sac, the pod?
Mm-hmm.
When that pod bursts, billions of microscopic spores are released into the air. Many of the spores are breathed by human beings with strange sicknesses produced. A kind of sickness, a great lassitude, a fatigue. The victim is overcome with a sense of hopelessness. Nothing seems worthwhile. Then comes a horrible anxiety, a formless, baseless worry, and a sense of despair.
Saturn City. That's exactly what's happening in Saturn City.
What is Dokov's purpose? How can he profit by it? Dokov also has the only cure for this sickness. When your scientists have tried every possible remedy and failed, and the government and its citizens become panicky, and Dokov will offer his cure for enormous price. If there is a cure, a positive, definite cure. Yes. Tell us what it is. With your help, our scientists could prepare it and rush it to Saturn City. And it's not as easy as that, Commander. Years ago, the government of Toloma destroyed every weed on the planet where it originated. The remedy is destroyed with the weed. How? You see, a species of wasp feeds on a substance secreted by the stalk of the plant. When the weeds are killed, the wasp had no more food and died out. Well, what's the wasp got to do with the cure? An extract is made from the honey of the wasp. That substance counteracts the effect of the force, and only Brokoff has this extract. That's right, tonight. And the supply of the plant. Then you're willing to join forces with us to capture Brokoff? Not only willing, but eager to try it. We can use our ship and your knowledge. But first, there's that truck you borrowed from the two prospectors. How far away is that shop? About 1 tour. That will be less than 2 miles from your measurement units. I'll space one of the prospectors and tell them where the truck is. I'll tell them I've arrested the man. That's fine, Commander. The sooner we go after Brokoff, the better. Where do we start looking for him? I only know he's somewhere in this part of your solar system. I'm going to head for Saturn City and make a few inquiries. Prepare for blast-off, Hap. I'll contact Mort Stocker. Blasting off from the sixth moon was such a victory for the planet Saturn. Now the Terrified is a few hundred BU from the outer perimeter of Saturn's ring. It's a magnificent sight, Commander. Those rings on Saturn, yes. They are beautiful, then. And from this angle, the rings look smooth and flat. One might even be tempted to try to land on them. Well, if you tried it, your ship would be chewed to pieces in a fraction of a second. Those rings are made up of tiny fragments of rock whirling around Saturn at about 10 miles a second.
Commander, look at the rear view scope. There's a ship right on our tail.
It's on a collision course with us. We'd better warn him.
Private cruiser, sir. That's all I can tell about it now.
He's firing at us.
What's he lobbing space torpedoes at us for? Doesn't he know this is a space patrol ship?
I think he does, Happy. I'm the one he wants to get.
You? But who would want to... Oh, Brokoff.
Yes. Commander, do you mind if I try to contact him? Go ahead, Joe. Brokoff, this is Gelwin of the Galactic Peace Commission, Paloma Division. Brokoff, do you hear me?
Yes, Gelwin. I've been waiting for you.
How did you know I was aboard the commander's ship?
I intercepted Corey's conversation with the prospector. I've been watching Titan since your own ship landed there. I have also overheard your hyperspace message.
Corey knows that you're responsible for what's happening to the people in Saturn City. When you show up with the remedy, you'll be captured. That's right, Brokoff. You won't be able to profit by your extortion plot.
I disagree, Commander. You have not seen an entire city in the grip of an epidemic of despair. When the sickness really takes hold, your United Planets government will do anything to obtain the remedy, at any cost.
If that's the case, what will you gain by destroying us?
Gelwin knows too much about me. You two working together could cause me some annoyance. Now, Commander, further conversation is useless. If you'll excuse me, I will resume the pleasant task of exterminating you.
Well, there's no use appealing to his finer sensibility. That's right, Commander.
Oh, that was close, Commander. He's getting his range with the torpedoes. Why don't we give him some of his own medicine? If we give him a few blasts with our space
Well, we can't. Now, think about those people in Saturn City. If we destroyed Brokoff, we destroyed the only person who can cure that epidemic.
He's gaining on us, sir. Smoking rockets we can't fight back, so all Brokoff has to do is keep firing until he hits us.
I'm changing back to Hap. We're heading for Saturn's ring.
But sir, Brokoff can still follow us.
He won't follow us where we're going. We're taking the ship right into the ring.
What? Why, those chunks of rock will turn this ship into a sieve.
We'll go in on a tangent. It's a choice between getting hit with 1,000 fragments or 1 torpedo.
Commander, you aren't really going to go into that ring.
Yes. We're going to nudge our way in gently. We'll match our velocity to the particles in the outer rim. We'll be riding along with them, sort of rolling with a punch. It might work, Commander. Have to run the repel array about 1/10 pound.
Yes, sir.
We're going to grab a ride on Saturn's merry-go-round. When those particles seem to be standing still, we'll pull into the stream.
We're almost at match velocity now, Commander.
The repel array ought to keep off any particles that come too close.
Brokoff's still firing at us. Uh-oh. He's changed sector.
Good. It means he won't try to follow us into the ring.
Those particles are all around us now, sir. They look like they're suspended in space outside our viewport. A swarm of bees.
And if we don't disturb those bees, we won't get stung. Now the trick is to work our way deeper into the ring.
Can you do it, sir?
If we increase our velocity gradually, as we move toward the inner part of the ring, it ought to work. Then you're going to spiral your way in, clear through the ring. No. We'll stay in long enough to convince Brokoff that we're finished and come out through the top.
I bet he's already sure that we're full hold.
Governor, better put in the hyperspace receiver. If Brokoff keeps in close touch with his Confederates back in Paloma, he may learn something about his plan. Nothing on the receiver so far. I'll try another frequency. All right, Governor. I think we can work our way out of the ring now. I've got something. There's some code. I can't make it out.
Is it from Paloma?
I don't know.
Yes, I'm certain of it. Gelwin is dead. The not having to worry about his meddling anymore.
Good point.
Not only rid of Gelwin, commander of the United Planet Space Patrol as well. The fools dived into a ring of fragments that whirl around the planet Saturn. They must have been ground to pieces in a few seconds.
Good work, Commander, just like you said.
I've got more good news, Ormark. The situation in Saturn City is desperate. Half the population has become so depressed by the effects of the weed spores that they aren't working. Communications, transportation, power, they're all disrupted. The accident rate is way up. I'll wait a few days for real panic to set in. Then I'll appear with my magic remedy. I'll ask $1 million credits first. And if the officials quibble or delay, my price will go up. I've got quantities of the remedies stashed all over the solar system. There's a supply on Saturn moon number 9 in a lunar-type spaceship, all earmarked for Saturn City. The remedy will stay there till they meet my price. I'll keep you informed, Ormark. Don't go out.
The lunar-type ship on the 9th moon. If we only knew what part of the moon.
9th moon of Saturn. Small, only 200 miles in diameter.
It shouldn't take us long to find the ship, unless it's hidden.
We'll spiral out of this rock swarm and head for the 9th moon. A few moments later, the Terra 5 emerges from the outer rim of the whirling rings of Saturn, like a silver spark from a spinning grindstone. Buzz sets a vector for Saturn's 9th moon. Then comes the long, patient search of the surface of the tiny Saturn.
It takes 6 times around, Commander.
It'll take about 12 more to cover the surface completely.
Every inch of that moon's surface looks just like the net.
Commander, look. The right edge of the viewscope. Is that a rock?
No, it's too smooth for a rock.
Increase the sensitivity, Hank.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a good rapid. Lunar-type ship.
Into your spacesuits. We're going to land.
Buzz sets the Terra 5 down on the surface of the moon. Then, in spacesuits and with ray guns ready, they advance toward the small ship.
There probably isn't anyone aboard. We can't afford to take chances.
They have trouble getting into the ship, Commander.
So-called probably locked the hatch. I've thought of that. The Talmud torch will do the trick. You two wait here. I'll go up the ladder first. Yes, sir. Locked, all right. A couple of blasts of the torch will take care of that. All right, come aboard. Yes, sir. We'll try the storage compartment first. It won't take long to search this ship. Start with that captain. There's small containers here, but I can't read the labels. They're in my native language, Norma. They're mostly ordinary chemicals. Here. Remedy for weed and despair. Wonderful. But it's just a small bottle. There are thousands of people in Saturn City. This will be enough. Fortunately, the remedy can be diluted millions of times and still be effective. But how can we get it to the people? That's a good question. The nature of the sickness itself is working against them. The victims haven't any initiative or any desire to get well. They won't cooperate because they can't. They wouldn't show up for treatment. And we'd have to find people that aren't sick and train them to administer the treatment. That's no problem. Merely drinking water with a diluted solution in it will effect a cure. Yeah, but remember that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Only in this case, we can't even lead the people to water, though. There's another way. Gelwin, what if this concentrate were added to the city's water supply? Would it be strong enough to work? I think so. In fact, I'm sure of it. Just that small bottle for thousands of people? Yes, sir. What we have here will take care of a city up to 500,000 population. Then we're safe. Be sure that we can reach every man, woman, and child in Saturn City, provided they aren't too bored with life to get up and get a drink of water. Don't worry. The advanced stages of the sickness, no matter how listless the victims are, one desire remains. One drive that will stir them to happiness. Thirst. We'll save them. All right, then. We'll blast off and get this remedy to Saturn City. Then we'll go after Strokoff.
A preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Boys and girls, there's a wonderful way for you to get the things you want. Say you want a new bike, or hammer, or whatever it is. Well, the way to get it is the United States Savings Bond. Now, here's the plan. You put your dimes and quarters, a part of your money, into your school savings plan. You might want to save cash or fill up a savings stamp album, which holds $18.75 worth of stamps. That's enough to buy a $25 savings bond. Just get started on a thrift habit, and first thing you know, you can buy the things you need with your own money. You'll have the fun of watching your dimes and quarters grow into dollars. Dollars all your own. Again, the important thing is to be sure you take advantage of your school savings plan each week. You'll find it's lots of fun and smart, too. Now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story. Buzz and Happy have become infected with a dangerous, weakening sickness and are frantically searching a laboratory on Venus, hoping to find the one medicine that will cure them.
If we don't get some of that solution soon, we'll be of no use to ourselves or anybody. Leave me, sir. Right now, I'm just going on my own momentum. Look at there. Top shelf. The bottom. Oh, yeah. That's your window.
Be careful. Lift it up there.
It's probably all there is in the whole place. If we can only get it to the ship, I'll drop our plans. Oh, it's broke on me. He's got a blast in him. Commander, the glass is smashed to the bottom. The medicine's gone.
Be with us next week for the thrilling Space Patrol story, The Fugitive from Colorma. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Helen Moser. Other players were Ken Mayer, Bela Kovac, and Norman Jolly. Dick Weston speaking. Don't forget to tune in next Saturday at the same time for exciting adventure on Space Patrol. This program was broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.